just put it in the oven, and it should take like 20. It should take like 30 minutes. I would just add some garlic seasoning to it, or that any kind of a seasoning up there. I don't care. Uh, hello. Welcome to the show. Let me find my guest before I feel like I'm gonna toss my cookies. Oh, I'm waiting for my host to come on. I've got to share this out. It's been an interesting day. Hello, Jennifer. Hello. Oh my god, my brain can't even function right now. Bam, we'll go here, bam. Okay, bam. Oh, bam. No, wham. No, not you. No, nope, wrong one. Hello. I'm going live. I'm just adding people. Yes, I am. I'm going live right now. And it won't let me send any more lives. Yes, thank you. It's a wonderful background. I try. Oh, just a little bit out of it right now. Just give me a sec. Yeah, I guess I took a little nap on the ground, and normal things that people do. Yep. Was quite an interesting experience myself, I must say. When you talk about spiritual knowledge, you get spiritual knowledge. I'm telling you that right now. Let's share. Waiting for the people to come on here. Oh.
Hello, everybody. I love that background.
Hello.
All right, let's get everybody shared.
Welcome.
I'm going to kind of take over for just a second for you.
Hey, at this point,
That's fine.
whatever, take over. I gotta get my crystals
I
ready
will
because
take
I
over
can't
for you.
deal
I'll
with
be
it.
your co host and get everybody going some direction. All right, everybody. So we're going to hit the screen with the pretty picture. A box is going to pop up. Invite all 60 of those names. Let's get that done right now. Let's see if we can get. Let's see if we can get at least 100 on there. Okay, we're still waiting for people to come in. All right, so then we're gonna get like 75K likes to 100K likes tonight. We need the algorithm running, so everybody like that's up here.
Uh,
We got.
I can't find it. Sorry. And I hit the ground really hard, so I don't do good.
All right, we need 50 fluffy donuts tonight.
Where's my remote? Hello, I'm here. I'm still here, guys.
I'm here. I'm here. You're not alone. Okay, then.
God.
Are you sure you're all right to have a show?
Oh, I'm gonna be
Well, let me get our special hosts on here. Let's pop up.
Lordy Lord. I had to have my roommate cook supper because I can't do it. Oh, God. I feel like I got hit by a Mack truck.
All right, we are liking and sharing right this minute.
Yeah, like and share.
Touch the screen. We're gonna build up those shares and those likes.
And we're working on 50 donuts.
50 donuts. Join in the team.
Mm.
I'm trying to find our.
Mm.
Maybe you've already invited Hopi in.
I need my assuring light. I need that light in here. But she's busy right now. Righty there, Sean.
I'll do my sharing from the box. You can get 50 people, 60 people.
Yeah.
We're all just kind of wooey.
Hello. Hello, my friend.
Hello, everybody coming in. We're liking and sharing. And then we're going to get that goal of 50 donuts tonight.
Hopefully.
And any guests that come on, we all like tips too. Gifts, tips.
Yep, we do. Why is this not doing this? This stupid piece of crap. Look, you piece of crap. I got the broken one. Is that what I got? Hi. Yeah, I have two of the same one. And normally I got one. I had to screw one. Oh no, I don't do that. I had to screw in the back because sometimes it falls. So yeah, guys, yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I'm back.
We're up to 5 people. This is not looking pretty good.
It's okay. We'll get them. I'm going to get tapping. We need our other two co-hosts, our other special hosts in here.
Well, I know one's eating and charging her phone, and she didn't even leave the parking lot yet.
Oh no.
Yeah, she
Hey Sherry, how are ya?
Hello, bird. That bird. 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 Why am I not seeing everybody? I don't like this. It says there's only 5 people in the room.
I put in our room that we're on.
Yeah. La, 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 la. I know she's out right now. Nobody
Jessica's
else
in
is
here
in.
talking though.
Yeah.
All right, let's tap that screen and get the likes going.
Yeah.
Because that's what's going to help the algorithm.
Why? Everybody's still saying Epsilon. I can read it. I can read my Facebook off my computer. I keep sharing it. It's like, I don't know.
Okay, what is the subject tonight?
Oh, spiritual knowledge.
Spiritual knowledge. I love that picture behind you.
Thank you. My assistant, My advisor put it on my feed, and I borrowed it from her.
Who's your
AKA, I took it.
advisor?
I took her
Who's your
picture.
advisor? Hi, Candace.
Hello, Candace.
Is Peter supposed to come on the show tonight? Maybe if he
Uh,
shows up.
I don't know.
Well, I definitely. Grand evening, Candace and Sherry and Jan R. How is everybody?
I hope everyone's doing fine.
Oh, good, you're over there too. Oh, all right. How's everybody's night going? It's raining here, and it's cold enough. I will probably have snow in the morning. No, no snow because I want to go get my driver's license. I passed
I
my
invited
driver's test.
Sean.
Don't, I let my driver's license expire in 21. I did not know that. Too much going on at that time. I'm trying to hold a conversation with you
I can
instead of
hardly
sitting
hear
here
you.
being quiet. I guess, you're just here. Everybody else can hear me. Hi, Grace. Grace
Oh, okay.
Dis.
Hello, welcome, Jan R. Granny.
Sean's in
We're doing
here.
fine. We're gonna be talking about spiritual knowledge. I'm just a little out of it right now.
Sean's in the room.
Sums it up.
Her up if she's ready.
Don't know where they went. Maybe why. Hi, welcome, Kit Kat. Welcome to the live. I don't know if you heard. We're gonna be talking about spiritual. What are we talking about? Knowledge.
I don't know. I might have to write it down.
hello,
So, our goal tonight.
Hi everyone.
Hello,
hello.
dear. We're inviting and doing likes
Yeah,
and rambling on.
just waiting.
Hi, Nightbird. Kit Kat.
Nightbird.
I got my shares in. Now I got to get my taps in.
Well,
We need to get people in here. Hi, Brian. All right.
Yeah, there's some of our people over in, oh, what's that name? Yes, you are.
AOMG or Commander.
Oh, James. The Red Jameses. Yes, you are.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of them are over there.
Oh, James has his own live show now.
They've been on for a little bit. Let's see if we start sending out requests. I have to take care of something real quick.
Yeah. Don't leave this room. Well, you can go over there. I'm not going to tell you where to have to stay.
Thank you for the love. So nice of you.
All right. Let's see what that donut is. I think I can give you one of the donuts. Yep. I think I can. I'll be the first one tonight. There you go.
Thank you, thank you.
There's your
Thank
first
you.
donut. Make
Yeah, I
sure I
feel like
give
you got
you.
rid of my Mack truck going 185 miles an hour.
Make sure I give you my heart me on the top. Now I did that.
That's what it feels like. I got ran over.
I just shared out to everybody, so.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I shared mine out too.
I got my 60 out.
I don't know how many. How do we even tell how many was shared? How does he know how
You
many
can see who
shares there
shares on your
were?
side.
How do you know that?
It'll tell on your side who shared or not.
Oh, total views
It should tell who shared and
$233.
well, it won't tell you what they shared, but they'll tell you they shared. I think.
Oh, I don't see it. Oh, no, that's the chat. Yeah, I don't see that. I know one of the hosts are going to be. Oh, she's here. Hello. Hello, welcome. So spiritual
You want me to?
knowledge, spiritual knowledge. It might be a tiny light, but I don't really care. If we grow, we grow right now. I'm not. I'm a little out of it, so I'm cool with it.
We're talking spiritual, right?
Yeah,
We got
we are.
spirit.
We're talking
We got our
spiritual knowledge.
special hosts in here, Hopi and Asher Light, Jesse, our special hosts. I'm the co-host, and you know the host. I don't know if he's Epsilon tonight or he's Master Brim. You don't know either.
You know what?
And we
I
have
will. Let
Dorinda
me tell
and
you this.
Nightbird.
Hold on. I will bring Master Brim here if that goal is built.
Okay, if you
And
can keep him from coming
he's
on.
very particular on when he comes out. So
Let's let Hopi talk and go down the line and let them introduce ourselves. We're here. Hopi, we'll start with you and then Nightbird, Dorinda, and Asher Light.
What do you want me to do? Like introduce myself? Is that
Just
where
go
we're at
ahead and
right now?
introduce yourself and let's get a show started.
Hi, I'm Hopi Love. I hope everybody has a good time here tonight. I'm also known as Little Butterfly. We're going to talk about some spirituality stuff, and anybody wants to has anything to share, please let us know.
and I
Please
think
do the
Hopi.
donuts if you can, and share out and tap tap tap. Thank you.
Tap tap. All right, Nightbird.
Hi, I'm Sherry, and I'm from Vegas. We're gonna have a good show tonight. And NC, I see you down there, and I'm sorry I haven't gotten a hold of you. I've been busy today.
Hi, NC.
Oh crap! Oh crap!
So
They really want to hear Brim.
you
Oh
got two
no!
of us in here right
Holy
now.
crap!
Yeah. And I have to say, my mind has been blown, and I just have so much information in my head. Oh my god! And like I told Hopi, and I think I told Astral that I've been
Thank
running
you.
around in circles. So, hi everyone.
Oh no! I have a feeling
We're
Brim's gonna
walking.
come out. Oh no! I probably shouldn't have said
You
that.
better make another guess. You better make another thing if those hearts or those donuts are taken.
Well, I
Follow.
have. Uh, not when I'm. Not the way I'm feeling. I can think I can only do Brim tonight.
Don't forget us co-hosts and special hosts and guests over here. We like tips too.
Oh God!
If it comes out, it comes out. You know, hey,
Oh
you know
man,
it.
I'm in trouble. I can.
Hi,
They're gonna really
Lois.
want to hear Brim, ain't they?
Welcome in,
Oh,
everybody. Welcome in tonight.
welcome. Thank you. Thank
We're
you. Thank you
we're
for the
gonna talk
love.
about
Thank you for the love.
spirituality. So, do you want them to start saying something, or do you got something to say?
Oh me? Um,
I'm trying to keep it
I tell
lawful
you.
here.
I can hardly hear you, and I'm out. I'm a little out of it right now. I'm still in the middle
You
of
know
a.
what? I think this phone's a bad phone. Can you guys hear me?
I can barely hear you, honestly.
Good to hear
Yeah,
you
you're pretty
too.
low. You're pretty
Yeah,
low, Trina.
Is that better? My nose is
yeah,
upset.
yeah, that's better.
Oh, I might have to change phones.
I love your
All right,
background.
we're gonna let
Thank you.
Hopi. Do you
I
have a
borrowed it from
story?
somebody.
Unless Epsilon's gonna tell one. All right, Epsilon, you're on. I'm not taking your show over, but I am your co-host, so
Yeah,
I'll get
okay.
whipped into shape.
All right, all right. Let me still trying to get back to where I was here, guys. Yeah. Spiritual knowledge. We'll go with spiritual knowledge. You can get many spiritual knowledges, but you have to connect with Gaia. That's the most important thing. Spiritual knowledge, and you have to be in the right mindset. But to get the spiritual knowledge, you have to be in the right mindset. You have to connect with Gaia, and you can't be hating on people. You got to be showing the love for what you have for each other. And I know there's a lot more, but I want to hear what my hosts have to say and what they think. But first, what we're going to do is that's how we're going to do that, I guess. We're going to talk about what they think how to get that spiritual knowledge. That's how we're going to start this out. So we've got 3 hours here to sit here and talk to each other and look at each other. So, what do you think, Hopi, about spiritual knowledge? How do you think you can obtain spiritual knowledge?
I think it's within us, and with a good community of people to help you. And I think a lot of it is within us, but when you meet your soul tribe or your community, they can help you.
Nightbird. Thank you for the donuts.
Sorry, I have been distracted for a moment. Can you go to the next person?
Dorinda.
Hi, my name is Dorinda. I'm from a little town in Wisconsin, and I'm Palladian. And the question that you ask about spiritual knowledge, it is my belief that we have our spiritual knowledge within us. And what happens is in our journey here on Earth this time around, is those that we meet, those that we come in contact with, books we read. I started out with Wayne Dyer that started to awaken the knowledge that was within me. And that's really kind of what it is our spiritual knowledge gets woken up within us. Yes, we do learn on top of that because we learn from each other and we learn different things. But there already is spiritual knowledge in us, especially if we've lived different lives, different past lives. And that has to do with how many spiritual lives that we've had before we were reincarnated into this one. Now, I'm a really old soul. I feel like I'm one of the oldest when Anouk came in and did mine. I have 1841. So I'm one of the old ones. So my knowledge is, I mean, just recently just been downloaded with many of those lifetimes. And it's stuff that we have forgotten. And now we are getting woke to who we are. And that's the beauty of it. We're such each and every one of us has such a bright, shining light. And we just have to remember who we are. And I find it just beautiful. So that's my thought.
Oh, sure is light. You're up next.
I've been breaking up, so I think you said it was my turn. I'm not 100% sure. If not, correct me. But
It is.
I'm Astra's Light. My name is Justine. In Oklahoma, I'm Tiger and Pleiadian. I've had 751 or 52 lives. I know that I've always felt different from when I was a child, and there's always been something there speaking to me. But once I really started to, I guess, awaken, everything kind of shifted for me. I was like this alone little girl searching for home, looking for family. And I know that I've called to my family. That way I didn't feel so alone, and here they are. But mine was just stumbling across things as I was awakening that resonated to me. And then I started noticing numbers and then synchronicities. And then I started getting flashes and glimpses of past lives that I have that I'm still trying to completely connect to. Right now it's just like a resonance and little flashes, but I'm 100% certain that it's fixing to not be that any longer. So that's kind of how mine started. And I'm still in the process of learning and growing off my family. We all have our strengths, and we just look at each other's strengths and build on what we feel that or see, here I go with words. Sometimes I have a problem with words. So we all have strengths in ourselves, and we look to the other on things that we can help build within ourselves. So we build off of other people's strengths to make them our strengths as well. So I'm here soaking up all of that I can attain and learning from my soul family and just building myself. So that's kind of where I am right now.
And Miss Divine. Oh,
Hi. Hi,
hello.
I'm Rachel. I I've been a lot of things, but I was told that I am somewhere in the Gray family and 642 lives and um I feel old, like my soul feels old, but I definitely knew something. Same as Ash, everything same as everything she said. You said it perfectly. I would have just said the same thing, but yes, I realized finally realized this year I begged God for something in a different way than I've ever begged God before. And and then it happened. I started getting shown all these things, and then I started listening to my guides, and then they kept yelling at me to get on TikTok, and then I got on here, and then I found all these wonderful people where before I thought I was alone, and everything all in the synchronicities, everything, they just started talking to me more and more and telling me things and God's showing me things, and then now we're all like doing the telepathy thing too and traveling together, and it's just like Ashley, and it's just it's been amazing, and I've been looking forward to each and every day now, where and all the things where I before thought I was lacking in life, I realize all those things do not matter, and I'm not lacking anything, and that's just been a beautiful feeling for me, and especially with what some might call a difficult traumatic life, which we've all had, I'm sure. That I'm
Did
like
everybody
it
freeze?
always. Hmm? Would you say?
Is everybody there? Oh,
Yeah,
crows.
yeah.
Stupid
So,
internet.
yeah.
Oh, right. I think I might have missed the last part of what you said.
I'm not lacking anything. I'm very grateful. I'm very abundant in a lot of ways, and this family's shown me that I'm not alone, and I really do appreciate that.
Oh, so to obtain the spiritual knowledge, do you have to be in the right mind, right? Um, Now what would put you in that mindset? Does anybody have any
I
answers for
think
I
that?
think
I
I think
think it. Go ahead, Rachel.
I was just gonna say mainly loving. Loving
Okay.
myself, loving yourself, and realizing, the answers are within, and loving yourself.
Next.
I'm going to kind of be the devil's advocate here because when I was doing black magic, you wouldn't believe the things I learned. So I was not in a state of love because I was doing black magic as part of a witch. But it was
Mm-hmm.
a different kind of learning. It was a whole different kind of energy, but yet still learning. So
Yes, that's the
I was
light.
in a state, but I wasn't in a state of love. But I was in an emotion. Yes. Not necessarily hate. There were times I was in a state of fear. Um, there were different things that when I was doing black magic for other people, I was in their energy and mine. So, I mean, that might be super deep and super weird because that was a part of my life when I practiced black magic.
Well, 1 second. Okay, I got you, Dorinda. I know where you're going. I got you already.
You know, I feel kind of that same way too. I've always been kind of pushed into religion, and I was so frustrated with it because I wasn't getting all the right answers. So it kind of pushed me into this other state. So I can identify with you on that one.
So, so we've already established that there's two kinds of spiritual abilities, right? So, so we don't scare the audience here. When people hear dark magic, they get scared. They're like, "Oh no, it's evil." But is it really? What would make a person think that it was evil? Where does it come from? Where does that magic come from? Anybody want to know? Anybody got any answers? I know you do.
I
From
do have
inside
an
of
answer for
us.
that. I do have the answer for
Yeah.
that, and she's right. She's right. That that space that I was in, I was in a space of fear, but not the kind of fear like I was afraid of it. That's not the space I was. I felt at that space in my life that I was helping. Oh, what is the word that everybody uses? Oh, what's that word, guys? Karmic. I was fixing karma. And once I learned different, my life changed. But as far as being afraid of it, no, I was not afraid of it. Is other people afraid of it? Yes, because I gained knowledge at that time when I was practicing black magic. It's not what it's not all evil. Black magic is not all evil. There's different forms of it.
And it's by
And
the
there's different.
intention too. It's
Yes.
the intent.
Yes. Yes.
And that's exactly that's what I was looking for. So it's the intent behind it, huh? So if it's the intent and the abilities inside of us, how do and we have those abilities that are inside of us. So and you get it, how do you get those abilities? You get them from being, how do you get
For
them?
me, for me, it was like keys that were unlocking, and I kind of naturally went into it. And I'm somebody that's been into Christianity for a long time. I studied all the books, all different religions as well. And like Anouk says, you know, it's about nature. There are beautiful things about it, and where there's light, there's dark. But I'm going to say again, it all involves with the intent behind the person.
Absolutely, because in that, that's wisdom in itself, what she just said. Because what we've learned not all that long ago, that there is not evil force. We create that ourselves. We create that evilness. We create our fear. We create that ghost. We create that evil demon. And if we create it, it's real. It absolutely is real. Only because of our intent, like she said, and only because we believe it's our reality.
I'm sure it's right. What do you think?
I agree with everybody else. Everything is what you make it. It's what you set your intent to. So if you have that ill intent inside you, then it's kind of what you create. If you create love, or if you set the intentions towards love, you create love. So it's just all in what you feel and what you want to do with it. It's your journey. It's how you chose to come. So it's just making your choices and picking your path. And you kind of, sometimes people fluctuate on just trying to pick a choice of what they want to do because of the free will. But I think initially that we come knowing what we wanted to do. So it's just once we get here is just choosing that path and sticking to it. So I just agree with everybody else. It's everything is what you make it.
So if you have the intent and you're using a source and you unlock the inside of your abilities inside. Now, what happens if you want to do light work? What kind of magic would that be? Would that be like magic you use with the love, right?
Absolutely.
So you would have to be humble with the magic and the abilities that are inside of you, because if you're not, you're going to create a bad spiritual knowledge, and you don't want that. So to obtain the spiritual knowledge that's inside of you, you have to look deep within yourself, because yourself, as we all know, is a universe. There's many things inside of you that are hidden.
To be honest, I think that I've been led down the journey of studying everything all in one. And I believe that we will help other people by our shining light within ourselves. I mean, it's the unconditional love, and you're able to reach each person because of that journey. That's how I see it.
Exactly. I think that it's how would you go about teaching this knowledge to individual that doesn't know? How would you teach that knowledge to somebody?
I think there's a line though that need to be very careful across, because there are people who say they're light and they might think they're light and they might think that they're sharing knowledge, but it's actually false. And that can be very, very dangerous, because if you don't have the correct knowledge, you haven't done all the digging deep and studying, then whatever you're telling somebody that this is the truth and you think it is, but it might not be. So that's something that a lot of people go around saying just whatever they learned yesterday.
Alrighty.
That is so true. Oh my God,
Yep,
Rachel.
yep.
Rachel, that just jacks me up, because I have to tell you that I was not in a space of love when I was actually transferring from the black or gray, because there's also gray magic. Now that's a whole different thing. That's kind of both. That's black and white magic, or the opposite, if you want to say. But when I was in that space, I borrowed, because I didn't love me. I borrowed the love of the person that I was working with. Now I know that sounds weird, but I wasn't in that space. I wasn't in that space, but I could work in the other person's space and energy because they were in a space of love. So I kind of borrowed it until I got my own, is kind of what I'm saying.
And actually, they were there on your journey with you. That was supposed to happen. And I agree with Rachel on that. And what I'm saying more is I'm not one to go out there and preach and, any of that stuff. I'm just there to show people my love, period. So, again, it's behind intent as well. But it's good to be knowledgeable about as much as you can.
I agree with you, Nightbird. I'm not here to preach. I'm not here to do any, I'm here to find my own truth and speak my own truth and take what resonates with me and be the example. I'm not here to, I mean, if people look and resonate and they want to accept some things as their truth or um, customize it to fit their own truth, that's like great. But honestly, we're all just here to be the example and speak our own truth. And then whoever resonates with that frequency, they do, and whoever doesn't, doesn't. We all have our own little frequency we carry, so we just kind of find those people, or those people find us, and we just be the example.
Beautifully said, Jessica. Very well said. And I really agree with all of that. I think you have to use discernment a lot, use your intuition. You will feel what is right and what is wrong if you really listen to it. And your guides will help you along the way too. It's that little voice, that little knowing, that just knowing inside of you that something's not right or something is right. And I think that's a big thing to it too, is just using that intuition and discernment.
Absolutely. And the way that Epsilon asked the question, how do we teach it? There's been people that I had to be the love and the light for them until they got it themselves. And because that was the space they were on in their journey. So, as a Reiki master teacher, I would have enough love that I could, per se, lend to them, and in a space that they could take that energy and vibration and tone and light from me until they got their own, until they were in a space to be able. So teaching it, sometimes we have to lend our own light and who and what we are until they can get their feet underneath them. So that's how I have done my journey, is helping people and teaching them.
That was beautifully said, as always.
I know we kind of have to kind of be careful with that too, because sometimes we want to be there and we want to do these certain things for people, but sometimes once they become too dependent, we just hinder their own journey. Sometimes we have to let go. Sometimes we have to give them their space to make their own choices too. So we also have to discern that too, when to let go and when to let them kind of be their own guiding light in a sense, I guess, just for lack of better words. But I know we really got to pay attention to that too and listen to our own intuition on when to let go, because I know that I felt like I can be a hindrance to people because they were so dependent on me helping that they refused to help themselves. They just depended on me. And sometimes we just have to let go and let them. We can only do so much. At some point, we have to let them do their thing.
Yeah, because we're all walking our own journey. And it's like talking to somebody. Certain people you can talk to certain people about. Uh, but yes, you're very right. And Rachel Devine is very right.
Or we protect our own boundaries, because I mean people could come to you for advice, and I tend not to say much unless I'm asked. But because 90% of the time people just want to vent, they're not asking for advice or anything. But sometimes people do come to you for that, and then they can end up draining your energy if you don't often create boundaries and stuff. So they can pull from you and pull from you and pull from you, and then you just end up dry. You gotta fill your cup first.
So when you're on your spiritual journey and you're gaining spiritual knowledge, it begs a question though. How do you lift others up? See, I'm going a different way with this time. I'm giving. What I'm doing is I'm not testing the host. I'm basically letting them express their journeys to help people this time. I figured I'd do something a little bit different and switch it up because I think it's important that each one of these people have the freedom to talk and share their spirituality with you in a way that's inspiring and helps you resonate with them and unite with all of us. Because as many shows want to have a theme of it's about a host sitting there preaching this logic and preaching all this. I decided to switch it up this time and say, well, I did this for the last couple of shows. Let's try something different, and this is what I came up with. When I was told spiritual knowledge, and what better way to have the spiritual knowledge is the ones that are learning it now. Because you can't just have one person talking about it, because it's more like preaching, and nobody wants to hear a preaching or a lecture. Nobody wants to hear the harsh truth that some people that are in that position want to say. And I think that each one of these individuals here want to express how they are because, and express their spirituality so you can resonate and unite with them.
Find this
That's why.
so beautiful, Epsilon. This is beautiful. This is amazingly beautiful because this gives a whole perspective and a whole dynamic that is different because there are so many different ways of spirituality and how we lift someone up. We can lift someone up by just the example of our own life and being open, maybe transparent in many ways that will lift someone up. I took a class on boundaries, literally a spiritual class on boundaries. And you wouldn't think that that would be something that would lift someone up, but it absolutely does. Because if we set boundaries and we don't, I don't remember which one of our gals here, which one of the masters said that about boundaries, but that we put up boundaries so that helping people and then they rely on you. It's so true. But if you have boundaries and you set that helps that person grow because then it's like you can't feed a baby steak. So if you set a boundary gently and allow them to try to walk on their own and then let them come back to you, but still keep your boundary up. Don't do it for them. Keep that boundary up and say, well, maybe if you saw it this way, or maybe if you saw it that way, that helps that person grow. So this is an amazing question. I love it. I love it.
That's why you all are here to spread your spiritual knowledge, is it not?
Yes, sir. That's why we're here.
I'm surprised nobody had caught on to what I was doing.
Well, even if we caught on, we went along with it because that's the name of the game. Gotta go along with the show and the way the path rolls, you know?
Yeah. The way the cookie crumbles. Alrighty. What were they talking about down there? Yeah, well,
I'm telling
anybody
NC
else?
that Anook doesn't do any readings. He only does
What?
things for free and live. So if anybody is contacted, you block them and report them. He never asks for anything, and he only
I'm
works
God.
live on the show.
What did you say? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I was talking to NC. You have one right now. Somebody's trying to give you a reading, acting like they're a Nook. Is that what's happening?
I'm trying to look for you. What? You are making me mad yet. I'm not trying to get all mad.
Okay, yeah, block them and report them.
Yeah, just block and report them.
Listen, yeah, there's a few fake accounts going around of Anook, and he would not reach out to you to give you a reading. He's only there in the live, or if you personally know him and whatever, but he will not reach out to you for that. So that's not him. Just
Everything he
block it.
does, yeah, everything he does is live, and he will answer any question you have. He will answer any question you have. So don't be afraid to ask. But yeah, get rid of that person.
Yes, and if you do need help privately, you talk to him during the show and he will set that up with you. You do not need to. The people that are reaching out to you are definitely not him. He will not reach out to you.
What is with the bottom box today? Everybody keeps dropping out of it.
Yes. And if you've ever came to a Nook's Live, you will never see him ask you to pay him for his knowledge. He gives what he has for free. He speaks like you've never ever seen him ask since TikTok. So if somebody's asking for money, it's an automatic. You've never personally seen him ask for that. So that right there tells you that it's not him.
Yeah, like Ashura said, everything he does is for free, and I'm not going to go on a tangent about that because I really have an issue with that too. I think the knowledge should be free, not paid for. And it's like some people on here, they think they're going to get money and get a quick dollar because they got a fake an account. Kind of irritates me because it ruins the truth of the real knowledge that's supposed to be handed out for free anyway. Because that's how it's supposed to be. Where I didn't pay someone to tell me what my future is when I could look inside myself and find the future. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little heated here. That's probably with the little fire that's beginning to be burning in me again at this moment. Because that kind of stuff really bugs me. It does. I mean, I got cards here. It's a tool. It's a tool. And what it is you use this for a tool, I think, for a show. But the real magic and the real power comes inside of yourself. Because when you manifest something, you can actually do multitude of things. You can move time itself if you take the keys from inside of you and unlock what the hidden things are. And that should not be paid for. It should be free. And that is what we need to do. We, as light workers, are on this planet to help every single one of you. The spiritual knowledge that you have inside of yourself it's phenomenal. The only way you're going to reach that spiritual knowledge is with love, humility, and you have to honor what you learn and honor what you say. You can't come out with harsh words because that is not the words you want to hear. You want, oh, 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 here he comes, apparently.
It's coming through.
I think you hear him bleeding through right now.
Hey, Uh, Brim, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hey, this is Lyron, aka Jack Sparrow. Um, I know you remember me probably from the Nukes lives,
I
but
do.
let me. I know you channel probably like him, and I know he's amazing at it. So I'd like to see if you're. It's hard to be up to par with him, huh? But he said I have like Lyron in my old past lives. I wanted to know if you could tell me anything about maybe like about me as a Lyran, like maybe like what color fur did I have or um anything like that.
Okay, I will describe one thing. The best way to describe this, you have two individuals. Two individuals are here. One individual sees is on a higher vibrational level. Okay? He sees a certain way of things. You have another being, probably not level with that. Now, what you feel is another individual's energies are at almost the same level, but they see different things. When you look at the person, he might see a Lyrian, or when I look at them, I would see another one of their past lives, or maybe another thing. And that is how I've always begun to understand that in the ways of the light. When I hear and look from your voice, I hear that. I hear Alarian. As to the kind you are, I am not sure, because I am on a different level and he is on a higher level of her frequency. It is
Would it
very
would
hard.
it help would it help if I showed a picture of what I look like? Because the first time he called me a Lyran, he saw I had red hair, and I know like Lyrans can have red hair or whatnot, like red fur. And but like in my head, I see black hair, like a black-haired lion. I don't know why.
I can't answer that because
It's
I
confusing, isn't
come,
it?
I come from a different reality, so to speak. And I'm not too familiar with this side of the universe. That's why it's hard for me, because where I come from is a far on the other side of the universe. I am the only one of my beings over here experiencing the human life, just like every one of you. And it's very hard for me to know all of the space beings because I have not been over in the side. Does anyone know how to make help this gentleman understand? Because in order, I might have to tell the story for you to understand.
Well, that makes sense, but it's just weird because I have red hair, so I'd obviously wish I was a red furred lion. But for some reason, the image in my fucking brain is a black furred one.
It probably was a past life.
Maybe.
I
He
wish I
actually,
could answer that. That is a question for Master
and
enough.
Anouk said I had multiple lion past lives, so maybe I was both.
I
No,
think you might have had two, and I think you might have had red fur in one. And I feel black with gold specks through it. I don't know why, but you had golden specks through that black fur. And
That's my favorite color.
that's just what I feel throughout me. I'm not nothing special, but my intuition says that you were black and gold. But I think you might have been there, had it twice, and I think you did have a red lion also. But I think you're seeing the black one because for some reason that was a more dominant lifetime.
That's interesting because that you say that, and I think that you might actually be seeing an image of it because black and gold is my favorite color. So that's just cool to hear.
Nightbird, I'm gonna
That's
drop you
very
down.
cool. Very cool.
I was just going to say that. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Well, I'm glad that resonated with you.
Oh, are you talking to me?
Yes, I was just saying I'm glad that that resonated with you.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, especially the black and gold part. And yeah, I don't know. It's just what I see is red and black. Like I always, obviously have red hair, so I wish I was a red lion. But for some reason, the image in my head, and I'm not even trying to think of that image. I've never even thought of that before until I was walking in my room a second ago. And for some reason, it's a very distinct image of black, like a black fucking lion type of lion. Like, but
Coffee?
it's
Or
human.
somebody else want to drop down? So I
I
can
also feel that about you, that you are a black lyran for sure, but I also see gold in that fur with your specks of it throughout it.
Does anybody else want to drop down so I can get Mac up here?
I
I
just want
appreciate that.
to say something to Lyron.
Hello?
Or as we know you, Jack.
What is wrong
So
with
when
this
you were
guy?
saying that you saw yourself with the black fur, I was remembering some wisdom that has been taught to us by Anouk, that you should be trusting yourself, trusting what you're seeing, because as all of us are beginning to come into our spiritual gifts, trusting ourselves is extremely important. So, that first thing that comes to you is probably your intuition. It is more than likely your intuition telling your higher self, showing you that sort of thing. So, just a little Anouk wisdom.
You know what's interesting is I so badly want to be a red lion, but I've never more prominently seen myself as a lion than when I just saw a black lion. So to me it was more prominent, and it just came to me like randomly, and I was not trying to think of it at all. So it was just I don't know, it's just weird.
Well, like I think too, definitely listen to your intuition, listen to your first thought. Think, that's how usually it is. It's what you feel inside. And if you're seeing it, like visually, then I believe it's true. Because I'm a very visual person. And I usually don't say, like, oh, I've seen this and I've seen that to people. This is kind of new for me to even speak out like that. Um, but I do believe you're onto something.
Thank you. It's very interesting.
Because
I
I'm
did
not
it
getting
since I'm up
that
here.
I get 1 second, Mac, please.
Okay.
The one thing that you must understand that whatever you feel, whatever you dislike and dislike, and if you think in your head is most likely true. If it resonates with you, that is quite possibly what you are. When you get into a heightened level of a spirituality, your energy in your body manifests into and creates a ball around your body. It forms electricity that initiates the sparks within your DNA in your cells. Henceforth, it ignites your DNA to bring up a past life. So, as I see it from my side of the universe, you are awakening that part of you. It is your journey to find that path. We are to guide you on that path. But more so, you look into yourself, you visualize it in your head. And then when you speak, you will understand if that makes any sense. Master Mac.
Thank you, Brimstar. I thought you was going to wait for him to get his message, his reply, but Thank you for the invite here. I'm glad to be here, everybody. Nice to see everybody here. My comment upon this is, in my opinion, Jack, it doesn't matter because star seed or earth seed, you've been many different beings. That's, period. If you've been an earth seed, you've always been an earthling. So you've been different colors there. Being a human is great because we have imagination. That's our most powerful tool, I think, as a human. We create. We're creators. We imagine. So if you wanted, like you said, you wish you had red hair as a, okay, you're saying red hair. I'm now thinking of the red panda. Now, that's just what came to my mind for some reason. And I didn't think that that was a panda. Like, that's not a panda. I had to go look it up. They do look like foxes. Like that's just what that panda looks like. But if you wanted red hair, that's cool. That's what you gravitated towards. That's exactly what it's about. Uh, you may have had different color hair in different lives as the same type of creature, type of being. It might not have been just the last past life. It could have skipped, and you're seeing this not from the direct life that just happened. It could have been partial. But yeah, exactly. Everybody's saying you're getting on somewhere because you're exactly intuition, what comes from within, and that's what it's all about. And that's something we're being taught. As we're all, I don't know how long anybody else has been taught this, but looking within for any answer, period, that's just part of the power of being a human. Now the DNA, that's why we have the memories about the DNA. And that's what is coming up with. You're remembering what you were because of the DNA that you were at that time. But it's hard because of the veil of forgetfulness coming into this existence. That's part of this game, Jack, and everybody else. It's part of the game of life, is to be able to forget necessary so you know. I mean, so you, not that you do know, but it's to get back to what you knew. That's what I figure it is like with God. It's a big game. God wants you to know you are it, you came from it, and you're going to be always with it and always going to go back to it. And it's a memory thing. It's like, okay, me or you, anyone, you're God. You're playing a game with yourself. But how you play the greatest game without you being known of how the game is played? You have to do it like this. Forget everything. But yeah, I mean, I'm just babbling. But yeah, you're. I'm kind of like caught into what you're talking about with this situation. But I'm just giving you my opinion on this so far. And there's always going to be more to build up for this. But it is about learning yourself. Everything's about learning self. And then you got not only yourself, okay, wait a minute. You know yourself, but now you know somebody else you didn't know that is like you. Community. There you go. The connection. Now there's more people that's like you. That's what it's about right there. Community, connection.
Thank, thank you,
Um, that's it. That's all I got right now, man.
thank you, brother. Thank
More to come.
One other thing I was gonna say is Hopi, thank you for that because when I like this I've never had an image just pop in my head without me even thinking about it beforehand and trying to think of
Well,
something. And
I always have visualizations, but I don't usually speak out. But I'm learning to listen to myself and my inner self as well. And once you said that about the black fur, I immediately saw this big, black, beautiful lyran with gold specks throughout it. And that's what I seen. But I also think you may have also been a red one also, like Max said, we've had numerous. So you could have also been a red lyran at one time. I'm only seeing the black with the gold.
let me tell y'all something crazy. So Anoop told me that my past lives I had 1,804 past lives total, which is pretty fucking cool.
That is because if you live that many lives, you had many life forms. The best way to understand who you are and what you truly mean, you have to connect with Mother Gaia and look within yourself. Whatever resonates with you is the answer. When you want to resonate with a certain being, you might have to try different things. Water, earth, wind, or fire, or whatever resonates with you. When you connect to the elements, they're a part of you. You have to feel Gaia working through you because the knowledge is within inside of you. Our blood, whoops, probably not supposed to say that, is an energy. And when we connect with that, it will flow through us and give us the answers that are required in our minds. Does anybody else have answers?
That is correct. Blood is life. No matter what creature there is, there's some form of something that's considered blood, and that's what the life energy is. Now, this is going beyond biblical. I mean, I've heard of this beyond just word, just what blood is. It's a life carrier. It carries. We are uh, living water, humans. Let's see, there's something I wanted to say about that earlier. Dang, I forgot what I wanted to say. Anybody else got something to say right now?
I did want to say congratulations on being one of the old souls on our piano. There's only been a few 1800s. You're one of them. Dorinda is one of them. So you're a very, very old soul.
Yeah, I can believe that because like I remember in like elementary school, I had a theory that bacteria crashed on the Earth from asteroids, and then life forms evolved
But
here from that. And I've heard that theory before too. After that, I heard that recently.
Yeah, they're
But
saying
I'm not
that that's happening. Yeah, how it happened. And you are a you said you mentioned that you are a Lyran. No, I'm sorry, Larry. Isn't it Lyran? I thought it's pronounced Lyran.
Lyran or Lyran, I don't know. I've heard both.
Like I like to pronounce Sirius, Cyrus, Sirius. Actually, I just like to pronounce it Sirius.
That reminds
Like
me of
they,
Strife.
you know, but it's serious. But that's where I'm finding out. Me as an orphan, that's where I come from. And I was looking up some information yesterday about, or maybe it was this morning, I think it was last night, about more on the Ascension glossary about the Azurite. And how come the fifth dimension or the how come Tara is not really mentioned a lot? Because it blew up. That's what happened.
So
Yes.
the last thing
And like,
I'll say,
oh shit! No wonder he keeps talking about Gaia and why he keeps talking about the mothers. He's missing the fifth frequency. You know, the fifth dimension that I'm aware of. And not a lot about the fourth or fifth. And we're in the third. We are in the third. And Anouk keeps mentioning about the seventh. To me, the seventh, where the mothers are at, the Andromedans
hmm,
and the Palladians. They're in the seventh
humans,
dimension, from what I'm aware of. How I categorize the frequencies. And like, oh, and I was reading about myself as being the Azurite, and that's what happened. We were we were a task force from the Christos founders races to go to Terra to reclaim the people from the enslavement that was going on there, and then that's when Tara got blown up. Like it screwed. Like, oh shit. Like there's a lot in the history that I'm aware of that I read about. Like, oh, okay, and it makes sense. But you being a Lyran, and I'm supposed to be from Sirius B myself.
uh,
And no, that's interesting because right now I'm a Cancerian. I'm a Cancer, and water sign. and it makes sense about all that stuff. I like water, but it's like I'm worried about drowning for some reason. I don't know why. And find out a lot about the so-called not mermaids, but the beings that are so-called we think are mermaids here. No, they're not mermaids. They're beings coming from Sarai's beak. They're from the portals in the ocean. That's what was Anouk was talking about like last week.
When I asked him about the dolphins, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. And then I saw a video of somebody just before I came here on TikTok here talking about, some black guys. I'm like, I'm going to go look at that mermaid in the water, and it's not a mermaid. I mean, it's something else. And he's showing different videos, but it does look like a siren, but
Yeah.
what I understand, that's not what a mermaid really is. Those beings there are coming from the portals from the other dimensions and from Sirius B or Sirius B, according to what Nooks mentioned. Like, oh, okay, because they're
Yeah.
water beings. It's mostly water
Dolphins.
beings. Oh, okay.
Dolphins.
That kind of makes
Shit.
sense.
Dolphins are like aliens. They say they're from like probably Sirius B, so that might be why you're so like connected to Sirius B. Maybe you have like I don't know, maybe some dolphin genes or something, or like a
Yeah, see,
dolphin.
there are
Yeah,
supposed to be
on this
dolphin and
plane.
whale race. I think it's a
Another
porpoise
plane.
type race. It's a humanoid type being. I know there's whale people and there's porpoise or dolphin people supposedly, and another
Yeah, it starts with an N. What are
dimension.
they called? Namods or something?
Yeah, I mean, I wrote that down too. Like, I don't know, narwhal? No, that's a whale. I'm
It
thinking.
starts with an N, whatever it is. Oh, I wanted to say on a side note, back to Lyran a little bit, but it has more to do with genealogy of red hair. So I have red hair and extremely pale skin, right? So you know what eumelanin is? That's people like who are tan, like in Mexico, like Mayans and Europeans have eumelanin. And then there's melanin, which is like Africans, African Americans and stuff. That's like what gives them black pigment. And then redheads have what's called pheomelanin. And that's
Hmm.
what orangutans also have pheomelanin. It's the only thing that can make like hair or skin orange is pheomelanin. I got major orange freckles and orange hair.
Well, what
I just
about
thought it was pretty cool.
the tabby or the cats or tigers? They're orange, but you're saying about the
Yeah,
orangutans. I'm talking about how's the orangutan the only thing can make an orange fur?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably got pheomelanin in it to make it red because they say that anything with red tint is pheomelanin. And I was just and like, dude, I get sunburned so bad. I feel like I'm from a different fucking planet because. And I've talked to my other friend who has red hair, and he's like, "Yeah, dude, we're from somewhere else. Like, there's some shit going on with our
I
genetics."
was told. I've been told from other groups. Sorry to interrupt you. I was told by other groups that what it is that the original human that was made is a very melanated, dark pigmented being,
Yeah,
and from that migration happened, and when migration happened, the human species, people went to the north, and that's what happened. They just stayed and
hmm,
uh, evolved that way, more lighter pigment because there was less sun exposure and all that. That's what
yeah,
somebody was mentioning because it's like, okay, I don't know if you guys heard of the planet Rizq, Rizq. It's a planet where these they're saying that not Africans, but the original indigenous people of America are starting to come up like, okay, they're aliens. They came from this planet Risk. They're all very black type pigmented people. They're not African. They're trying to separate themselves from Africans. Because, in America, it's like, okay, why are Africans don't like American black people? And it's just, well, they've been told and indoctrinated not to mess with them because they're, racist bullshit. And this is what they're getting. So there is a different indigenous black person of America, original people, before Europeans came. And this is being found out now. And then there's the African, and there's two different types of culture people. And they're saying that the original person came from this planet Risk, and he's came here and throughout the centuries in different forms, and he wrote a book. His name was Dr. I can't think of his name, but he wrote a book. I got it. But it's interesting and what they were mentioning about the dark pigmented people and where they originally came from. Is they
Hmm.
originally came from some planet called Risk, or Risk, R-I QZE, or RIQZ, or
Interesting.
RICQ. And
Interest,
the man from Risk. I don't know. Sorry, go ahead.
interesting fact. Melanin is like the most valuable per gram thing on the planet. It's like $460 per gram of melanin.
Yeah, I
And
heard about that. I heard about that. People in China or Singapore or something like that, that they can sell a body, a black person, on the market and get a bunch of money.
that
Like what?
melanin is crazy. And you can actually, th-
It's because of the DNA, how it's made. It's like that's the
yeah,
original type of man that came here to Earth, or that was made actually, not
that's
came
why
here.
they call them the nine ether. They call themselves nine
Yes,
ether beings.
exactly.
And
That's
that's
you
mainly
and
in
I.
mainly in Ethiopia. And nine ether means
Oh,
that they're made from every single element or whatever. Like I don't know how
yeah,
many elements could
that's
be.
what it means. Okay, I never figured out what that meant. Now it makes sense. Knowing about nine is the number of complete. Well, nine is the last number of numerology, and is it completion? No, seven is completion. I can't remember the numbers what they mean. But yeah, you and I are linked right there with the same information right there. That makes sense.
Over
But
13.
it's wild how all this stuff comes out and it's all coming out now, like in the last 10 years, because we
12
weren't ready as
and
a
13.
culture, a race, a being.
12.
I love being this human, but then again, at the same time, I hate it. Seriously, that's how I feel about being human. It sucks, and then it's awesome. But that's how I see everything. I see everything on the extremes.
Yeah, 12 completes the cycle and 13 is rebirth and regeneration. That's
Now,
what.
I heard something about cycle and 13. You broke out there.
Let me put my headphones back in. Hold on a second. My
But
phone's
yeah, there's a thing about 13. Yeah, no, I don't. I mean, the rebel, the number 13 for that reasoning too, and what that meaning really means behind
it
that.
gets it gets into Masonic shit. So they believe 12 is the end of a cycle and 13 is rebirth and regeneration. As you can see, it's the end of the zodiac is 12, and then 13 would be the next number one on a new cycle.
And I heard there's supposed to be a 13, but there's something else from another video. I don't understand why, but now I actually understand why, because you're conceived on a certain day. So if you were born on a certain day, which is your zodiac sun sign, you go back 9 months to your conception date, which should be basically the same date, but 9 months earlier. That's your original birth date sign, supposedly. And like that's interesting because if that's true, and if I did it correctly, I'm a Libra. I'm a Cancer, but I'm a Libra as well as my conception sign. So it makes sense because I am a person trying to get everything to everybody, level everything out. Everybody's friendly. I can talk to almost everybody. I mean, I'm like my mom a bit, and like I wondered about that for years. And I just found this video on TikTok. Somebody's like, if you know about your zodiac signs, or did you know about going back 9 months and that's your original zodiac? I'm like, huh. What the hell are you talking about?
That would be cool if that was true, but I don't know if I believe it because I got Capricorn. I was born in January, and like it just resonates. Like everything I've read about Capricorns is like it's literally like encapsulates who I am. But I've also read that you could basically read anything on any one of them and think it's you. But I just think Capricorn like resonates with me way too hard.
Oh, yeah, certain things. Yeah, I see what you mean. Same thing with me doing the Myers and Briggs personality test, or which the famous website 16personalities.com.
Yeah, yeah.
I've done that one. I'm an advocate. That's why I would be great as a social worker, somebody working as a psychiatrist, psychologist.
One that gives you the personality type like INTP.
Yeah, you broke out pretty bad there because of Mike, I guess. I'm surprised nobody else is chiming in on anything.
Well, I can say But I'm a Pisces, and I'm definitely 100% resonated with that. I know I'm one, 100%.
I find that myself, like
Yeah,
I'd get a cancer, but if you look at 9 months prior, like your conception time, and like, oh, that kind of makes sense too, because you might have some similarities too. Because I'm analytical. Cancers are not analytical, not totally. I'm analytical. Well, where does analytical mind that comes from? Is it, how is it related? Like that kind of makes sense with the 9 months conception idea. And dealing with that. That's just the sun sign. Go ahead, sorry.
yeah, Capricorns are like really materialistic, and a lot of them are like good at
Yeah.
getting wealthy. And
Uh-huh.
I know I've been very wealthy before, and like more than I could. I wrote down, I manifested getting $1 million, and I had it before I was 30. When I was in high school, I wrote that down, and I got it at 29. And yeah, no,
Wow.
I just believe it too hard, like on the actual. I think it's actually right on the birthday. I don't know, at least for me.
$1 million, huh? I hope you're still living off that. Oh, I had it invested in some other things.
And let me add, if you can't hear me, it's just because my phone's about to die, so I have to switch from the headphones back to the charger.
Oh, yeah, that sucks. Yeah, I got a wireless charger I have on my desk where my computer stuff is at. But it's wired, the charger itself, but it's wireless because I can just take the phone right off. And it's a cradle. It's like one of those phone cradle things. I just got that $20 at Walmart. I mean, Amazon.
Shit, wouldn't that be nice to have? I could set it down on that and just have
Yeah,
my head.
no. I had one that wasn't for the phone to be charged. It came with something I bought that came from China. And I'm like, oh, it's cool. It's a little cradle for my phone. I've had this for 2 years. And then I'm like, you know what? I want a wireless charger because I started doing this. You,
Honestly, what
you
didn't come from China?
Everything came from
that's
China.
a really good question. But you know what? There are a lot of things that didn't come from China, like
Well, some
corn.
clothes in Taiwan, but that's still
Corn.
China.
Corn. Come on. Corn's only from here, guys. What I
Well,
don't like about
they
corn is the
got
fact that it grows back together. Like, what
my
is that
grand
crap?
my grandpa. He's a big hedge fund. He owned a hedge fund, and he told me a while back he was like the next best place to invest is Vietnam.
I wonder why Vietnam. That's interesting.
He said Vietnam was gonna come up like with the factories and all that stuff. He was saying it was like you could get cheap land, and it was also like building. It was getting into like factory building, like industrialization.
You know what I find out better? The idea, because this is really what happens. It's people. If you can move people, you got the power. So you are wealthy if you can move people. The people are is what makes the currency run around the world now. It's people power. It's always been people power.
This is true.
So because of that, the idea of investing in something other than people, you're wrong. And this is an investment idea that came to me years ago. And like, that's interesting. But how do like think about it. If you got big money, if you got an oil tanker, a product you can, or a thing you can invest in that can produce, a resource, that's great. But what's going to make the resource do what it does? People, brains, intelligence. A machine's not going to be able to do that. Machines only can do certain things, actions. That's all they can do. It's going to take an intelligence to do that. So the powers that be figured out maybe 1,000 years ago, I'm guessing, if we enslave people and get people to believe in our ways, we become rich. We are the power. That's the whole fucking factor. So when we all of us collectively realize they're not the ones in power, we are. We allow them to be in power. You look at how it used to be with monarchy. You had a king, queen, an emperor, a prince, and all that stuff. A monarchy ruling, one type of family ruling, a family that could be wiped out by people. and then the people take over. But they never did because of fear of death and torture and all the other stuff. Same thing like today. Same thing. So if you don't get rid of the idea of fear, and look at how America's run. It's run on where the people are supposed to run it, but it's run by representatives. And there is many ways that the founding fathers of America had gotten us out of what we get into. The idea of legalism, yeah, yeah, that's a possibility. It's a big thing. Now, all it is stating a claim on anything. That's all legalism is. Is they're claiming some charge against you? You're a straw man, and you say, "Yeah, I am the straw man," and yeah, I did this. I think, that's like saying that you plead guilty. Okay, we're going to charge you $1,000 and 5 years in jail, or some shit. Like what the hell? Whatever they said you did, all because you claimed you are this person. It's all about wording. Wording. That's all they care about. How to get more power out of you. These are things I've always been thinking about. What's up with that? Why is this world run like this? This is what makes me want to hate the world, don't want to be here. Seriously, there's so many times I thought, I wish I was not here. And suicide came, not now, but has came to mind. And yeah, I did try that one time. And
I'm
that's what
alive.
this is what happened. I was butt naked in my living room in my apartment when I was, 19, 20, and I was going to do it. Something right behind me, a female voice, said, "Don't do it. It's not worth it." Just calmly said that. It was right behind me. I don't know. It was a female voice. I had no idea. I just cried, just bawled for a couple hours at that time. But just reminding me what I did, and just out of nowhere, this female voice came to me, told me this. And that brings me back to the idea of, okay, there's got to be more why I'm here. Why am I a human? What's my purpose? Well, really, it's not really what's my purpose. It's now more like creating your own purpose. Finding your purpose is not a thing anymore. It never really was. But because of time and the way things are always changing consistently, this is why it's now creating your own purpose. Man, if I could go live, man, this sucks.
In that,
Anybody else got anything to come in on?
what is your purpose, Mac?
A purpose. What do I want to be a purpose? Man, I don't know exactly right now because there's so many different things.
You were talking about how the power comes in influencing people before my phone died, and it
Oh,
just made me think of Trump, and it also made me think of MLK.
interesting. I don't know
Very,
why
very,
MLK
very.
unless you had a political tie to it. But I'm still trying to think about what Brimstar was mentioning and like what's my purpose. I used to always trying to figure this out and like, okay, I know my purpose, I have it. But now it's like, yeah, I don't know because it's like creating your purpose, whatever I want. Uh, I don't know. It's like the idea of having a goal, a purpose. It's a purpose to be this human, to learn and to carry on. Let's see. What else? To remain, to
Back
know
in
that we are
the
all
day,
the collective and there's no one left behind. Right.
I I used to always say like, because voting, there's like a voting system, and like everybody has one vote, like you really have no chance to even sway a vote with one vote. And I always used to say the only way to actually make a vote matter is to influence other people's votes. you could influence like 1 million people to vote a certain way, that like could actually sway a vote.
Love, doing the best thing that you can do to help someone else out. And you know what? That is something. That is a great feeling, a better feeling when you help someone for something, no matter what it is. I've realized this throughout the past, compared to like, okay, compared to eating something, like how delicious and enjoyable that is to eat something. By helping someone, that joy there, there's something more about that. And that's what I'm saying is about this being this human. There's something about this. It's so unique, you know. And that's why I don't want to leave. Because I want to find out what's more. I don't want to ever leave, but then again, I know I'm going to have to one day, right? Either just vanish away or in the flesh wise.
Since you mentioned food, I don't know if any of y'all have heard of Dr. Sebi. He's the
Yeah.
guy. He was making ads in New York in the newspaper talking about I can heal any disease like lupus, AIDS, and all this other stuff that's uncurable. Supposedly, says Big Pharma and the government. And he went to Supreme Court and had 47 different people come forward that he had healed them of like lupus and AIDS and all these other sicknesses. And he
Yeah.
got let off. And then he got killed in jail.
Was that when he got killed? Yeah, it's because everything's about mucus. Most illnesses,
Yes.
if you guys eat and rub and bathe with a bunch of different herbs and stuff, you'll always be healthy. You need minerals and nutrients. That's all we need. We don't need proteins, carbohydrates, all these other molecules. It's really the nutrients. They're just nutrients. And according to what I understand now, based upon your astrology sign, would tell you what nutrient you need. Apparently, I need lots of potassium. That's why I'm Callium. That's why my name is
Yeah, we
Callium.
all
No,
potassium's
seriously.
very
I just named myself, my higher self or my sentient self named me Callium, and I looked it up the next day and I found out that it means potassium. So my potassium that I need and my magnesium that I need is going to be found from mushrooms. And I eat mushrooms a lot anyways. But it's
I'm
just funny
growing
because that's one thing that we do. But
me and
somebody
my
had mentioned. Go ahead, sorry.
I'm sorry. No, I'm interrupting you, but like me and my dad are we have a huge package of we're growing blue oysters and lion's mane mushrooms.
Oh yeah, I think I had to try those lion mane mushrooms, the long skinny ones. If
They're
not,
kind of fat, actually. They're kind of
okay,
fat.
those are the other ones. I haven't had those. But somebody mentioned about we're going to talk about the Akashic records, and I think that's a great idea to flip subjects.
Ooh, but say one thing about
Who
lion's
is
mane
there? I
mushrooms.
don't know who mentioned
Lions
that.
lion's mane mushrooms actually rebuild neurons in the brain, and they can connect your hemispheres on like the left hemisphere to the right hemisphere by connecting neurons in your brain.
Oh, those are those one mushrooms I heard people talking about recently, recent months. Advanced light worker. I don't know what you mean by sorry. I don't know what you're talking about there, buddy. I don't know if it was Shauna. I don't know. Somebody's asking about. Did this just? Did the live still go? Hello?
Um, Nightbird Akashic Records, and I had said that I didn't think we were doing that tonight.
No, we're not doing that tonight. We're doing it Sunday.
I cut out what I missed. What Shauna and you said.
I said Nightbird had asked if we were talking about the Akashic Records tonight, and I told her no. I thought it was either Friday or Sunday, so that's what that was about.
Okay. All right.
That's going to be Sunday.
You know,
And me and Mac are going to have to get some research on that. And Pete.
so wait a minute. What are we doing? What I gotta do? Well, I don't know. I gotta do something with you.
Oh, no.
But
Yeah, because you're the knowledge man.
yeah, I'm glad that you guys are very patient. And when like people like me to interrupt and just want to say something, You let us go, and then same thing as what we do. That's great. We're not,
You know,
it's
I
just
have a
great that they're doing
plan.
research.
There's a reason why I did this like this. There's an entire reason why I let this go on like this.
Yeah, just let them go. Pete's on, but what are you talking about with uh, Jack there? Or
Nope, the live's going exactly how I wanted it.
Pete's here right now.
I don't know what you mean, Brimstar. You got what exactly? I'm missing out because it
Oh
flipped
my
on
dear
me. Now I'm not
child.
comprehending.
This is exactly what I planned.
Oh, oh,
That's why
the
I let this go on for a while. I've been
okay,
sitting here
okay,
because my entire life was going to be basically about this. It's a spiritual knowledge, is it not?
yes,
Mm. And who has the spiritual knowledge? Just one person
no,
who might have that spiritual knowledge.
The collective, all of
yeah,
us.
all
And
everyone.
there you go. There is the whole reason why. Because the
That
collective has to share their wisdom, not just one, but many.
Right, and so I was like, hey, anybody else got anything else to pitch? Chime in, just chime in. You know,
no,
I don't,
I was talking about it earlier tonight. And I'm up at the top. No, no, no. LOL.
Yeah, my phone keeps dying. It's getting on my nerves.
And
so
yes,
I need to
this
have like a
originally,
Bluetooth headset. That way you can plug your phone in and leave it down there and just freaking listen. Like I can put mine on, but I don't need it right now.
Switching from the charger to the fucking headset.
John, did you see what I was doing?
I
I
do
see
know.
that you're blue now. Well, you've been blue. You remind me of a freaking Jedi. That's what you look like. That is so cool. You look like a dead Jedi. Hey, where'd you go? No, he's not gone. Yoda, come back. Yoda. uh, I can't. What's his name? Guile? Can't think of Baby Yoda. What's his name, man? Can't think of his name. Look at that! Look at that!
Oh, that's great.
Hey, Mac.
It's
He
old
looks good.
Ben.
Leave him alone.
It's old Ben. Oh wait, there's not.
But no, that was the entire plan. Shonda, did you see what I was doing?
I do now that you mentioned it.
You're just
I was gonna hold it off and not say anything until the end of the show, but I'm trying to hold this in. I'm laughing because this is exactly what I wanted you guys to do. Because when you're in other lives, you really guys don't get a chance to talk, and I really have a hard. I really don't hear you guys express your emotions. So instead of me coming up with this, a, somebody gave me the idea of a spiritual knowledge. And I was gonna write a whole thing about spiritual knowledge, and I thought about that, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna take this a different route. And then after what happened earlier, about an hour ago, I can't. When I walked through the portal of something,
No,
I
longer than that.
realized something. I took the papers that I had written, and I ripped them up and threw them away. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna go a different route, and this is exactly how I wanted it.
Did you say it was an hour ago?
Cool.
About an
Yeah,
hour or two ago, yes.
he said
Because
an hour ago.
it was
It's no
about
longer.
four.
Well, not for me.
Oh, okay.
Maybe about
Well,
3 hours ago. I don't
It's
remember
been an
timing.
hour since I've been on here.
Yeah, it was almost 4 hours ago now, Master Bryn.
Oh my god, this
I
whole
felt like
day
I
I've
was
been
in a
running in
time warp.
circles. What's going
Hey,
on?
Yeah,
every,
I've noticed
every,
in that too in the last 4 hours of how quickly things going by. Like, wow. Yeah, I
everyone
just
in
started
here
looking at it at
follow
7
each other,
o'clock.
follow the host, and double tap.
Yes,
Oh
please
yeah, we
double
can sit there
tap.
talking. You guys have a double tap and do it. Like, I didn't said that earlier.
Wait a
Double
minute,
tap.
four
Just like
hours?
those.
What the heck? Where am
Yeah, I
I?
got 9:48. I'm going on 10, so it's going to 5 o'clock when I started earlier with our live with the Facebook.
But yeah,
Even
and
pizzas
then
turned it.
when I came out and I woke up and
We
I found
just got
myself on the
here.
ground.
You know what? I don't know what it is, but I really see Smith, my family generation, my dad's side, maybe both, in Rory. I see my brother, my oldest brother Eddie. I see me. I'm like, dude, I see my sitting like, how the heck is this? So I'm only fourth generation Smith. Um, I don't know why, how the hell this is not even. I was told Thunderbird was our last name. I don't know. And then again, I was told that's German, but I'm not even German. Not even. So I don't know how. I don't know what history somebody was telling them. But I don't know. It's just funny how we look. I've been looking at him like that's interesting. Like, dude, I never thought I would find somebody looking like me.
My last name is Spence, and a lot of people in my family's like ancestors were named William Spence. And I read it that Spence meant like they were the cabinet keepers for royalty.
They were what for royalty?
Like the pantry, like they like ran the pantries and
Oh,
they they were good at like keeping tabs on shit like it said the pantry, but I'm sure they did a lot more than that.
see, that's what I would like to be talking about. Is like, how can we do better? Because everything you just mentioned there, without the idea of royalty or some other type of authority in charge, that's what we need to get back to. And what it really is true anarchy. And as we will get back to it, you know, all these big businesses who won't better be doing anything anymore, and it will be the small businesses around that's local. Maybe one of you might have a local business growing up. I mean, in your area that you live in. I mean, that's really where it should be. I mean, it's got distorted because of convenience. That's what I really find it as. People got lazier over time, and now it's no more of that. We don't need that anymore. We can't.
And how do we change that, Mac?
By grouping together as a collective and knowing about what Guy is doing, so we know where to go, as in where we should be living and not living. I mean, we've all known since I was a kid. All I'm hearing about is the next flood, the next flood. That's all I'm hearing. Seriously, since I was a kid, a little kid. Oh no, we're not going to be in a flood. It's going to be a hailfire because of Armageddon. It's gonna be like raining meteors. And that's how everybody's gonna die and stuff like that. Like all I'm hearing is about
We're
the
on a
flood.
26,000 year cycle, like a big catastrophe.
Yeah, and that's the reason why. I mean, 26,000, 2,600. I don't know. It has to be 26,000, huh? And like the question of why all that happened and stuff. What's the purpose? Why we can't get out of the atmosphere? We're only so above outside of Earth's atmosphere. That's all we can reach as a space shuttle being. And I know why now because of what a Nook mentioned. I don't think it was Thoth. I think it was a Nook. Maybe it was Thoth. No, I think it was a Nook. He mentioned that it's because the technology we're using it with the wrong type of way. Like the idea of reverse engineering that they are doing, the bad people or whatever. They won't better use the technology properly because they're not aligned spiritually. And that's what the whole point is. It's like, oh, okay. So we got to come together and create new technologies, putting love in it. Think about this also, everybody. Why is it that when you eat something that somebody else has made, it tastes better? Why do you all think that? Anybody can answer me that?
Because you're manifesting it.
Because it's made what?
The food tastes better in other countries because the
No, I'm just saying
food.
somebody else making it.
The ingredients are sourced from different places as
No, I'm
well.
just saying
No, no,
somebody
no.
else
I got
making it.
this.
Like,
I got this, guys. So I think even Rory or Anook one day talked about, if you're going to cook, you have to. Your intention matters. Your
mhm.
mood, what you're feeling, and what you're thinking while you're making that food will make a difference. If you're pissed off and you're angry and you're making that food, it's not going to taste near as good, and there's going to be an energy that's left within that food.
And that's exactly it. And that's anything. I was gonna say just you explain it exactly. I was gonna say just putting love into it. Just that's it. But okay, that's a way better
Yeah, it comes in
explanation.
that molecules are affected by your emotions. Your emotions carry energy waves, like frequencies. So have you seen that study where they freeze water and they'll be like I love you, and then the water will break. They'll shatter the frozen crystal and it'll turn into like a heart. And then they'll have one where they're like, oh, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, and then they shatter it and it's like all fucked up. It's like ugly.
And like anything else, it's built on intent. It's what you intend to do with energies that you have. If you intend to do bad, you're going to do the bad. If you intend to do right, you'll be able to do that. And that also goes into what you manifest. When you manifest something, your intent behind it, you can create wonderful things, but it all depends on what you intend to do. So, in order not to intend the bad things, you have to look within yourself to find the true answers and the true meaning and the true knowledge that's hidden within yourself. You have to portray and live a life of love and energy. No, even the smallest minute of a excuse me, act of kindness will get you so far in this life. You could walk down the street and say this guy's coming down the street and he wants to go and do a massacre at a buffet table or something. Let's just use that for an example. And he goes, you walk up to him and you say, "Hi, how you doing?" He might change his attitude.
Yeah.
It depends on how positive you are to him. Anything that you put in, you have to fully believe it. You have to come in and commit to it with a compassion and a love and the desire that no matter what's going to happen, it's going to happen. Whenever you have even a slightest little intent that of things that like you're not gonna even a slightest little doubt in the back of your mind, you could want to create a big batch of brownies, and you're just a little mad. You're not really paying attention, and you think you're doing this out of love for somebody, but you could have messed up a slightest little ingredient, and what happens? You have salty brownies, oily brownies, and they're good. No, it's brownies. You made them, but this it's a little flawed. That's why anything that you do that's positive has to be
Come
purely
on.
on
Come
the
back. Come
intent
back.
and the source the love and compassion you have from the source. There you go.
Intent
Yes.
and talking to like water. Have y'all seen that study where they put the electrodes on plants and then they do the same thing like they'll think I hate you and then they'll watch the energy waves of the plants and they'll like start going crazy like a lie detector machine, and then if they say like I love you, and then I also read another thing about a guy who had a cornfield, like an old guy, and he started playing classical music loud as hell, and his corn grew like really high, and all the neighbors were wondering how he did it. And it was from classical music because of the frequencies, you know.
I know why sound is so important, why that is a thing. If you know the original or the book of Genesis of the Bible, in the beginning, God said, in the beginning, the Word, the Word was with God and was flesh, made flesh, and it was God, as in the Christ. Back to seeing God said. So you got two things going on there for me, as in God said. You got an audible of sound, and then you got a reception, and then you got a transceiver. You got a receiver and a transceiver. Something sending a message and something receiving a message. So that right there is just sound. There's no sight at all yet. God is sound. God is a
And
sound field. That's what
that's
God is.
why that's why our words that come out of our mouth,
It
every
means so
word means
much.
something.
Yes. Yeah. And I realized, man, I keep. Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. Well, not you guys, my nephew. Just, I've been told about this stuff all a lot, and just, I know I keep saying this. I know, but when I had my nephews here live with me, my sister, it just like they're just so on my nerves every day, and they just would not stop, and they don't care. Yeah, they're kids, but it's like they know what they're doing most of the time when it comes down to like some of that stuff, and just used to get on my nerves, and I used to just belittle them a little bit, well, probably a bit, but I always come back and I apologize and explain myself, and just I get that. It's just upsetting how that was.
Hi.
You know,
Um, that was wonderful. Now we're going to move on to another host because we don't want to take up all their time, because they're sitting here and they're probably getting impatient, and I'm probably going to, get kicked in the shins or something by all the women up here, and I don't want to get a beat down tonight. So, Nightbird,
Oh, what?
your turn to speak. What do you think that Mac had said in Lyran?
It makes perfect sense to me.
Well,
My mind is blank right now.
so y'all
I've
know
been
how the
so
monks
overloaded the last few days. Say that again?
y'all know how the monks chant and the M, like at the end they like for a long time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Supposedly
the
sound.
from what I've read, that was the first sound of the universe.
okay, I got like two of the other hosts came back, so if any two want to jump down or leave the box, so I can invite them back up. We're kind of rotating back and forth. And I really love your explanation, Mac. That was awesome. Exactly what I would wanted you to say.
I haven't heard that.
Exactly what you got.
Everybody who's watching this, double tap as well as follow all the hosts up here. Thank you.
And Sue just messaged me that there was another stupid mass, you know what, but I'm not
Yes,
sure
I
where.
know.
Yeah, it's happening right
6:24.
now,
Yeah.
right in where I live in Maine, where I live.
You
Oh
serious?
my God! And I don't have a TV. I only have my computer, so I
Yeah,
didn't
it's
know.
actually Rachel Learn's daughter right in her town. I
Oh my
guess
God!
well, the
I
pew
can't
pew
say
pew pew
weapons.
people. Yeah, the pew pew people were outside of her house, and there's
No.
four of them. There's four of them. They found one so far, and they're looking for him. So they told everybody, lock your doors, whatever. I'm a little ways away, so I'm not stressing it, but they could run, I'm like 45 minutes away from there. But, yeah, it's a pretty scary world we're living in, really, really is. And
Well,
they
and I
did it at a
waited.
bowling alley. This happened at a bowling alley.
Oh,
So when you
see,
say
I've
mass,
lived through When I lived through the very first ones, Columbine and Batman, I went to that theater. So every
Wow.
time I hear this, it takes me right back because Columbine was it was horrible. And I knew some of the kids. So every time I hear this, I can't watch it. I can't let myself go there anymore. But maybe we all should have our intentions on Rachel for her safety.
Y'all
That's
remember the
scary.
Aurora? Y'all remember the Aurora one at the Dark
It's
Knight?
Yeah.
Rachel's daughter. Hold on, it's Rachel's daughter who lives in Maine. She lives 45 minutes away from where I live. And not Rachel. It's Rachel's daughter who lives here. So let's all put good and positive intentions of safety onto Rachel's daughter. And you're correct. And right now, you were saying down the bottom how many? It was 4 pew pew men, and 16 people so far. And so far, 10 of them have passed, I believe.
Oh,
And the other
no.
8 are seriously injured, as far as I've heard so far.
Sean 73 mentioned they're in Texas too. I don't know what the heck is going on, man. What's going
Yeah,
on?
and Lauren, the Batman one, I was actually right there.
I heard about that, but
Went
I'm
through
like, dude, where's that
the
happening?
whole trial, everything.
And this is why we need to show our acceptance and love to the world, but not stupid people like this that do stupid actions against their own fellow humans. This is the prime example why we have spiritual groups around this planet.
Yeah,
This is the
exactly.
whole entire reason why
The,
we do what we do, but because of things like this. This is painful and agonizing. We should not have to see this on our TVs and on our computers. We should be able to live a life of peace and tranquility. This is why we're here. We are here to spread the awareness and the word and the light. We share in unity. We must raise the vibrations and the emotional level between all of us. And when we have the negative energies, we should transmute that energy into the positive light. And in order to reach the positive light, we should connect with each other in a loving spiritual way.
Correct. Absolutely correct. Beautifully said.
y'all know another crazy one was the Aurora, that James Holmes guy. Dude, I watched a whole documentary on it talking about MK Ultra because he was studying temporal illusions at
Yeah.
was it Harvard or was it Boulder maybe? I don't know.
It was
But I watched.
it it was in Colorado. Um, and the thing that I really am upset about is his parents already knew, and he was studying because supposedly his grandfather had what he had, and they knew about it, and they let him come to Colorado. He did what he did, and then his apartment had booby traps everywhere. All those people are lucky they're alive. Yeah, that's one I'm talking about. It was Aurora, and it was the Batman. Yep.
My my friend's cousin got shot in the leg in that Aurora
You
too.
can't say that kind of word. We have to change it up a little.
You can't say shot.
No,
Yeah,
no,
when
no,
you're
no.
talking about
No, no, no,
people
no, no, no,
and
no.
stuff like that, you have to reword a little.
Yeah.
Really?
I slipped too. I slipped too. So I hear you. We have to be creative and rethink when we speak.
I say that we should just send them our thoughts and make sure everything is good.
Yeah, let's change the subject and move on to spirituality. Send love and kindness and
So if we start
safety upon all of them. And yep, let them be
see that
found
traffic,
and no further injuries.
I kind of want to know what Murray was saying because he said something about a cousin was there.
I
Okay,
don't
let me
mind him
see.
saying it,
Get
but
us in
you're gonna
trouble.
have try to edit the words a little, okay?
I'll
Yeah.
edit. My friend's cousin got in the leg. She was in the Aurora Theater when that happened. So
Yeah.
she's actually insane.
Oh, it's affected her that bad. I I understand.
It's crazy because me and him were both into the conspiracies about it, and then he finds out that his cousin was there.
Wow. Okay. All right, let's change the subject now.
But all I would say is when you, it's okay to talk about this, but if you dwell on that, it's going to put more negativity into the world, and that's something that it's great that we're notified of that. And it's not that we want to be hush hush about it either. We want to be aware more. In a lot of times when people go on, they go on and they see like a bunch of stuff happen, and they pass the message, but not saying you, I'm just saying people in general normally want to like shove it down people's throats, kind of like anything else. And when you do that and you keep talking about it, you're manifesting it, and you're manifesting it, and then the fear, they're feeding off the fear that we have. And it's, if I understand it right, when you're manifesting fear and negative energy, when you keep doing that, it's going to feed into the tidal wave that they want. That's why it's kind of like you don't want to be throw all the emotion into it and keep bringing it up, because I know it was just notifying it, and I feel very bad for them. But if you stay on that subject too long, or when you're in a way of trying to spread the spirituality, and that comes in when you're and it's kind of like we would run up to in the middle of a sanctuary and scream that, it's okay that we're learning that in a spiritual manner, but it kind of interrupts the light that we were trying to shine to everybody else, if that makes any sense.
So to tap into that,
Nah,
we, of course, we have to hear about these things that are happening, these terrible events. But what we have to shift our minds to do is completely what we're not used to from previous, before we've learned the things we've learned and grown into what we have become. But we have to take the things in, and then we need to figure out what it is we need to do to counteract it. We need to transmute it and send back love, true energy from us. We have to learn move energy to be, we all need to be, for a better way of putting it, learn to be Reiki masters, honestly, how to move that love energy from our hearts out to the world versus what
I got some.
we've been doing for for our whole lives, which is we hear about these things, these negative, terrible things, and then we just continuously talk about it. Think about the movie Monsters Inc. They have to reveal what they're doing, and that movie was a revelation of what they're doing. They use our fear to fuel what's going on, because as we can manifest things, say you want to manifest a car and you work on manifesting that car, they use that same exact way to manifest fear, terror, and control in this world, not just in this country, but in this world. Is they put it out there, they get you to focus on it, and all that energy is focused on it, and it builds what they want.
Yeah, I mean, I want to find out what the rabbit was talking about the vortex. Is that rabbit? I don't know if you're in the comments still, but what you talking about vortex? Is that what we experienced hours ago? You want to talk about?
I tried to pull a rabbit off from his hole, but he didn't want to stay down there in the hole.
I think he's
Yeah.
talking about Honey McRun is going to Sedona, and Sedona has vortexes there.
Oh, okay. Because his comment here says anyone's thoughts on the shifting vortex event? Question mark. And I just thought he was talking about what we experienced earlier, or is he talking about something else? What's he talking about?
I don't know what that's I don't know what that is either. But what we went through was different, right? Was
Yeah, I know
sort
that.
of
That's why
similar.
I'm saying we were different. I'm like, wait,
So
was Rabbit there too, but he wasn't really with us. But he was with us. You know what I mean? Because wasn't he with us? No, he wasn't with us. I'm
No,
saying
he wasn't with us.
wasn't higher
Did he
self was
sense?
with us.
Did he get pulled through the portal with us?
I thought his higher self was pulled through. I thought he came through. So that's what I'm saying. I've wondered. Dude, are you there? Rabbit, are you down
I
there?
was
I
wanting
know.
to know
Shaman Storm, you missed it, man. It's
what
different.
happened earlier.
Are you still here, Rabbit? Rabbit, are you down in the comments?
Some people are gonna have to mute the mic. No one can hear anything.
Yeah, that would be Jack there too. I see. Jack
so
needs to mute the mic, I think.
on, on what Brimstar was talking about with having good thoughts. In Buddhism and Christianity, it talks about your thoughts shape your reality. And to bring it scientifically, to bring it back to religion, if y'all have heard of the double slit experiment, they shoot a proton through a slit. And when no one's observing it, no human consciousness, no consciousness at all is observing it. It goes like straight through. And then when someone's observing it, it reacts differently. It'll shoot sporadic. Or maybe it's the other way around. If you're observing it, it shoots straight, and then when no one's observing it, it shoots sporadic.
Because our thoughts and our focus carry energy. So when we
Does it just?
focus on it, it changes it.
How else does it change? Does it change by the way your actions?
It's our thoughts manipulate matter is what the study found out. Our thoughts manipulate matter. So if you can imagine one person's thought can manipulate protons, then imagine a collective consciousness thinking of the same thing, whether evil or good. It can make a lot happen. That's why they fear monger with the news and all that.
Exactly.
You know, he could have been talking about the upcoming weather too that's coming for the vortex shift. There's supposed to be
Yeah,
a really big winter storm coming.
yeah, like next year. That's what he's talking about for this year. Like, I look up the fault line, the meridian, whatever that fault line is. Like, dude, I'm not right on top of it, but I'm real right next to it. I'm in the danger zone. Sucks. According to one mapping, I'm on the edge of the danger zone. Like, man, this sucks. And just something about that. I don't know. Just when I had to look at that Mount Shasta, and for years, seriously, for years, been telling me something about north central California for some reason. I'm like serious, like for many years when I thought about places to live at. The only thing that prevented me from being there now is their laws, their rules, their regulations, and then the freaking pricing of living there. Like, sheesh. And then I don't know what elements they have, earthquakes or not. I don't know. But I
I
thought
thought
about the
about
cold
that too,
weather
Mac.
here. What's that?
I thought about. I've been feeling a calling over there from since I was 20.
Crazy.
I don't
And
know what it is about Mount Shasta, but I wanted to go there since I was 20 years old.
Well, y-
okay.
y'all have heard my story with Mount Shasta. I don't know if y'all
Oh,
remember it or not.
you probably, I will probably will when you mention it again. I'm saying, I thought it was Hopi said something about Mount Shasta, but maybe it was you. have been
Well,
somebody else.
so just over a year ago, when I started this journey of really getting into this side to spirituality, um, I started meditating and everything, and I immediately started having visions come through, people coming to me, guides, all kinds of stuff just started popping off quickly. And one of the things I had was a vision of a mountain with a dark lake in between myself and this mountain, and it was almost like an illuminated outline of the mountain. And then
Wow.
I intuitively knew that I was to create this ball of energy in my hands. And then I had this ball of energy and I could see it. Of course, I had my eyes closed. I was meditating, and I knew I was supposed to throw it up, straight up. And so I did it. I did the motion and I threw it up in the air. And then all of a sudden in my vision, I could see it raining down like rain, light raining down like rain on the lake. And there was a message that came across the lake, um, a message for me. But when I was telling my sister about what happened, she said, okay, because she's been in this for many, 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 many years. She said, that what you saw was Mount Shasta. And she said, I'm going to show you a picture. And mind you, I had already told my husband and both of my daughters about what happened in my meditation before my sister sent me this. She sent me a picture of the back of a tarot card with exactly my vision, besides the message that was specifically for me. But it had the mountain with the lake, and it had this light, this rain of light coming down, just like what I saw. And that's also
Hey,
when she
down the
told me
rabbit
we were.
hole. Why don't you come up here? I know you're sitting down there. You got a lot to say. Why don't you jump in this box and let me hear that voice of yours, Mr. Rabbit Hole? My brother from another mother. Why don't you
Oh
come
man.
up in that box?
Rabbit holes here.
Why don't you come
Yeah,
down there and stop hiding?
he's just hiding in a hole because it's his buddy he's on. That's why it's his friend here. So he's just being a rabbit asshole.
Come on. Come on there, Zorro. Bring it on. What you got? What
Let's
you
just
got for me?
um. Oh,
Horse.
I
But
mean, like,
who was talking about the
Elvis.
vision they had? Was that Sean?
Yeah.
When you
Yeah.
have visions, are you talking about you're awake and you're meditating? Because like most visions I have are when I'm dreaming. Like for instance, I was cutting a carrot cake, and then just happened the next day I was eating carrot cake, and I hadn't eaten carrot cake in like 10 years.
Interesting.
Yeah. So my
Coolest vision.
grandson, my grandson, my grandson is 10 years old, and he told me recently that he sees things before they happen. Like he said, it's almost like I black out, and it's coming from a 10-year-old. He said, it's like my vision goes black, and then all of a sudden I see something, and then it happens. He said, two of my friends, I knew they were going to be my friends before I met them. For
That's
some
not like
reason, they were,
one of my nephews. It does.
yeah.
One
And
of my nephews can see things. Yeah.
It's weird because my son did that to me. He said to me when he was old enough to talk, he goes, Daddy, I loved you before I knew it.
Oh.
And then he goes, Daddy, I love you. He goes, I love you first. I'm like, what are you like? Holy,
That's just you cut in and out there, but that's kind of
that's
mind-boggling still.
Y'all are lucky. It sounds like y'all got indigo children. Was it Sean talking about a kid that
Well, yeah.
had
See,
visions?
I do believe Brimstar is. And I know I'm an indigo child because of where I was born. I'm here to illuminate the world. This is why I'm with this group. This is why I'm with you guys. Like everything's been leading me up to this point, and I see these things escalating how it comes out, and I'm supposed to be here. I see this.
oh
You
why
know
not
crap!
how I
start
know?
Did you
teaching
just
them?
pinpoint your purpose? Did you just pinpoint your purpose? I heard that.
I can't say my purpose. It's a purpose,
Oh,
but
do so.
yeah,
Repeat
I mean, you
that.
can say my purpose as in the purpose of me, this human flesh
Nah.
being here. Yeah. Where'd my picture go? No, my fault. I'm thinking I'm on Facebook. But yeah,
Matt,
okay.
what did you
Yeah.
say?
I know I'm an old soul because I was going through random lives one day, and I'm a nice person, right? And I went into a live, and it was one guy in the live, just the guy hosting it, and he ended up telling me to follow a nuke, and that's how I got here. Like, I was just
Yeah.
chilling with them,
It's like
talking
this
to
is
him.
that's what it's given to you. Here, follow this guy. Because
Yeah,
the things you got
it was
questions
so
about.
random. Like anybody else would have just left because nobody was in there, and I was just chilling with them.
We have a question from the comments. Wants to know what is the difference between a starseed and an indigo child?
Okay, let's see. An indigo is, let's see, if I can correctly mention it, you were born from mid to late 70s all the way to early to mid 90s. That's an indigo child. You were brought here as a star seed to help influence the positive movement that needs to be done. That's what we're here for as an indigo. As a star seed means you could be from another universe. You could be from another part of this universe, not in this exact galaxy. That's what that means. You could be part of the story, but not directly influenced of the story. I think that's what it would be more like put it. Where how I get an indigo was a being who's deliberately born as an Earth child to get everybody focusing on what needs to be done. And that's what I got.
Those are usually
All right, down
extremely
the rabbit
smart.
hole. I
I,
see what
I
you
feel like
said. You said down the rabbit hole. You said you weren't a starseed. You're an
Are
inhuman.
you gonna match for freedom? We gonna match for freedom? I don't know what you mean, man. Rabbit, I don't know what you mean. I'm neither. Are we gonna match for freedom? I don't know what you mean. If you want to,
Rabbit thinks he's not an indigo or a starseed. He's probably one of them, though.
No, he's from Earth. Anouk and him
yeah, he's
already
the
talked about
Earthseed.
it.
Yeah, he's
He's the
directly
Earth,
Earthseed.
so he's
Yeah,
directly Earth.
yeah.
You know what? Down the rabbit hole. You're a Smurf.
A Smurf. I would like to be a Smurf too. That'd be cool. I like the Smurfs. Fa la
See,
la 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 la
when he
la.
was on a
Fa la
Commander's
la la
live,
la la.
he
What?
was on a Commander's live cracking jokes at me when I'm down in the comments. Now it's the other way around, huh?
Hey, I think Miss Honey McReynolds should come up in the box because she has a lot of wisdom she's been talking about in the comments.
I've been
There's an
trying to
open
Okay,
find
yeah,
box.
I
her, but
heard about the Honey Reynolds, but haven't met her. I might have. I don't remember. There is a space up here for you
So
if you're here. Actually, a Nook mentioned
I have a
you. Or was it Rory? One of the two. A Nook
I
or
have a
Rory
question
mentioned
for who
you.
was talking about
Oh, you are.
the years being born. For who was
The
talking
years.
about the years being born to be a starseed or indigo. Um, what comes after that? Like, what do they be called after if they're in like the fucking if they were born in like the 20s? Like, what
they're
would
still
they be?
star, they're still star seeds.
No, they're all different names to different children. There are different ones. There's rainbows, there's indigos, there's crystal. um,
Oh yeah, the
there are all
crystal
kinds of them.
stargazer.
There are all kinds of them. But a star seed, and that does not mean like an indigo can be a star seed as well too. Because I was born in that era, but I am a star seed.
This is another
Find yourself
factor.
as
Thank you.
someone that's meant to waken up everyone else to what's really going on. What see, I've always been looking at why am I here? What's this thing called human? Why am I this human? Why do I have these urges that I do when I want to do other things? You know, there's like it's an inconvenience to be this human when I want to do other things. That's how I used to think about it.
And from what they say from Dolores Cannon, and it's like there are different sets of volunteers that came in certain generations. There was like the first wave that didn't do so well, and then the second wave, which is like our group, basically the 70s and 80s and like around that stage, you know. And then the new ones are the Crystals and the Rainbow Children.
Okay, I gotta say this. Every time I see Honey, I swear I see Mary Magdalene. I don't know why, but I can't hold it in no more. Every time I see her, she's got something to do with Mary Magdalene, and it's driving me nuts. I don't know what it is, but I see it. I keep seeing the lady there holding. She's got a white robe and a blue robe, and she's dipping in this well and getting water. That's what I see all the time. I see her. I don't know why I keep seeing it, but that's what I see.
She's over 5,000 years old.
I see Mother Teresa too in her.
Well, I think a lot of it is because, again, Archangel Michael's been with me all my life, and I call on Yeshua and Mary Magdalene a lot when I do my healing, and I can feel her mantle when she comes in, and I love the way she speaks. But Mother Mary comes and helps a lot too. Mary Magdalene has been an interest of mine for a very long time, and I used to do homilies on her in the church, trying to get people to understand that she was not what they thought she was. And I've done a lot of research on her, and I just utilize her every day. She
Wasn't
knows right when
does
I
the name
ask, right when I call.
does
She's
the name Nightingale something with Nightingale?
Florence Nightingale. She
I,
was she was
I,
the mother of all nurses.
that's what I'm getting from you, Nightingale. Because the minute you were talking, I hear Nightingale, Nightingale, Nightingale. I'm like, what? Am I hearing things again?
Your
Yeah,
light is making you glow, honey. The light behind you is making you
Yeah,
glow.
yeah.
She looks very
it's
angelic, I
it's
will
my
say.
porch light.
I
It,
have I have a
I
question
don't
for
think
you, honey.
it's me. I think it's my porch light. But
Yeah,
thank
it
you.
is.
Um,
I friended you a while back. I guess you were on a Nooks Live or what, you know. And I'm like, oh, who? Because I heard of you recently. Like, okay, I haven't friended you, but I have. But my question to you is that you channel the Archangel Michael. Is that correct?
yes,
Okay. I'm confused with Michael, Lucifer, and Metatron. Were they hijacked in some form of fashion? And recently, since 2012, maybe 2020, maybe exactly, have been reestablished. The consciousness being hijacked. You know anything about that?
Uh, Grim, did you say you channel Metatron? Because isn't that another name for Thoth?
Oh, I
no,
channel four
Did,
beings.
did
Four
you
are
lose
women,
me?
and they run through my head and drive me crazy. But I have this dominant male. His name is Brimstar, and he comes from the other side of the damn universe. And it's very hard for me to talk. It's hard for him because he's been on the human world in different bodies and stuff. So it's kind of hard for him to associate kind of with the human. It's hard to explain because he's a different being within himself. He came from another reality and lived a whole life, and then came over here. So yeah, and if you would have caught one of the lives that Anook did, he would have told you that unless I bring him out and he tells you the story.
Yeah, I remember that. But I've always heard this older man in my head, and he spoke differently than my higher self. My higher self sounds like me, um, and I get confused sometimes, and I have to try to. I have to admit I have doubts, and so I have to work on that. But I've been very comfortable in the last 10 years because Source has sent me so many people to show me what it is I'm doing correctly and then how to enhance what I'm doing. My main concern is healing and always has been. I have a very good friend who's a quantum worker, and she told me that I was extremely old and that right now we're coming out of the karmic system, kind of getting past all the karmic. You got to burn off all your karmic. And so she's telling me that what I'm doing is I'm kind of skating on my dharma, which is I've burned up all my karma and now I have some extra dharma, and I'm using it here to be a light worker, to be a what Dolores called, a shower, and try to help people wake up so they don't get so frightened and they know kind of what they're supposed to be doing. And I'm here to just explain it to them in a common sense sort of way. So I've spent nearly my whole life reading about all the religions, all the different things, all the different backgrounds and how it all came about, so that I can explain it to other people in a way that they understand and take away that fear. And that's what I spend my days doing, and have for a long time, is when people are on their way to transitioning, I can help them because I live in such an area that's so conservative. People are so frightened of dying, and I can help them redirect and find what they're looking for on the other side of the veil. And they've told me what they see, and they tell me how it works. And it's, I don't channel like a lot of you guys do. I don't see the things you do, but I have been channeling for a long time. And just with, I finally asked the guy, who are you? And he told me, he laughed and told me he was Michael. And then as I got better at it, I could channel Mother Mary and Magdalene and Yeshua. But people see what they want to see, and they see how they want to see it. I had a patient who was just the most beautiful woman. She was very young. She knew she wasn't going to get any better, and she would spend 2 or 3 days just pretty much comatose. And everybody would be sitting around whispering, and I was trying to explain to the family that she was spending her time on the other side trying to figure out what she was going to do and how she was going to do it, and talking about what was there, and that people usually go there, stay a little bit longer each time until they make the decision not to come back. And they tell us it's very important to tell people, the family, to say it's okay to go. But what they don't understand is the patient is trying to figure out that it's okay to go, that it's okay to let go of their family and their material things here. And so the more they see on the other side of the veil, the more convincing it is. And some people get there and don't want to come back, and come back because the family isn't ready to let them go. And I had a woman who planned her entire everything out. And she was so happy. She woke up after she had been asleep for 3 or 4 days. She woke up and said, how did you know I was in the garden with Jesus? And I said, I just knew you were. And so she explained it to her family. And once they understood that, they were so relieved. And so she made a plan with Jesus, and she said, this is what I want to do. I want to spend one night with my husband We're going to have a dinner and wine and spend our time together. And then I'm coming home. And that's exactly what she did. She picked the time, she picked the day, the time, the whole, they did everything laid out exactly the way she wanted to do it. And she laid down, closed her eyes, and she was gone. And I just have the most beautiful stories. I have people who don't believe in anything who come back and
Hey,
tell me what they've
hey,
seen.
honey, when did you start getting clear channeling? Like, did you always have like a clear channel, or when you got older, did they get more clear?
When I started speaking out more openly in the church, and I was doing what they call mini homilies, and sometimes I was doing the full message, I would have it all written down and know exactly what I wanted to say. I'd get up there, and I'm Lutheran, so we had a lot of ritualistic, you know, things like the Catholics do. But then when it came time for the message, it didn't matter what I had written down, something else came out. And I didn't always remember everything I said. And I would have to get somebody else to tell me sometimes what I said. And I finally figured out, because I read a lot of Edgar Casey. I read him when I was like 12, 13 years old. Ruth Montgomery, Sylvia Brown, all the people. And so when I finally asked, who are you and how are you putting these thoughts in my head, he told me he was Michael. And since then, I've learned that, yes, while Michael is an archangel, he is a spark, the same as all the rest of us. He's just a little closer to source than the rest of us are, but he's still part of us. He's us. He's our higher selves. But he would put words in my head and I would write them down. And I could tell it was him because of the cadence, because of the way he spoke and the things that he spoke to me about. And then I could tell when it was Mary Magdalene because of the way she felt. She felt differently and she spoke differently than Michael did. And some of the other archangels, when they come in, I can tell they're different. But what we have to understand is it's not always just individual people. The people that are coming to us now are coming in councils. They are different beings who have all put their energy together in order to channel, and there's more and more channels coming into their gifts right now because it's more and more important for us to know what we need to know and to wake people up more and more. And so you may have someone on a council, the way they've explained it is there may be 1,000 different souls that are all there as a council, and they're giving advice and writing books through people to tell us what it is we need to know, to tell us the truth, the things that Anouk is telling us, the true stories about people in our history, the true stories of how the Bible came about, who the real Old Testament God was, and how that all came about and how it got changed and how they turned it around and used it. I studied the whole era of Constantine and how that all came about with him trying to balance out the powers because his wife was a huge influence on him. That this is what she wanted. And he felt a lot of pressure, but it took over 50 years for these guys to all sit down and figure it out. But they just went out and found these different scribes, read them, and thought, okay, well, this will influence people more toward what we want. And we don't want the pagans mad. We don't want the Christians mad. So let's just roll it all together here and see if we can't make all this work. And we'll put a bunch of politics in there, make everybody afraid, And hell was a concept that was a human concept. It is not biblical at all. It was truly based on a place that actually existed where they were outside of the city and burning trash, carcasses, people. It was a horrible place, and that's where they sent people for punishment. They had to keep the fires going, they had to keep things churning, and many people died while they were doing that. So that's where the punishment phase came into, and that's where the eternal thing came in, was because people were there they never left. They died there. Then they just threw them in the pile too. There's so many things the Bible has changed. People have changed. They've changed the words. They've changed the meanings. And, the whole Old Testament is nothing but the lesser God that Anouk talks about, who had a huge ego and was just trying to force everybody. So then Yeshua came and said, I need to tell people that that's not the real God, that there is a real, true, loving source, and this guy ain't it. And they need to change how they feel. And, I am him and he is me. And when he spoke about I am the way, that was the easiest way he could get across, because you have to think about the people of the time that he was speaking to. He couldn't just talk to them about atoms and energies and the way we all came together, whether you believe it was production of God or if it was a Big Bang Theory. Either way, you couldn't talk science. People from that era, they wouldn't know what you were talking about. And his disciples were nothing more than mostly illiterate, warmongering guys that just wanted to use him to get back at the Romans and to take over the world. And they got disappointed in him because he was peaceful and he didn't want to do those things. And that's kind of how that all came about. But when you talk about soul journeys and families, you have to realize that sometimes someone in your family makes an agreement to come back with you in this life and do horrible things in your life in order to teach you something.
Lyron, can you mute your mic?
So, like, my father was someone I never got along with. He was amazing, physically, mentally. He was a good man, but he had an illness. He was an alcoholic.
Trina, can you mute your mic? Sorry, Lyron.
Wondering if behind Trina, is that actually a nuke, or is that like a green screen of video of him?
To screen.
Screen.
But
Green screen.
anyway, we have to realize
We
that
needed to look in his awesome face.
we have to realize that evil is a perception. We have people who come here to play a role in order to get us to learn our lesson, and we're sitting up there in the perfect unity with Source, and we're all feeling wonderful, floating on our little clouds and having a great time. And we think, oh heck, that'll be easy. We can do that. We can all do that together. And so it may be someone who is your absolute most precious soul who comes here with you and treats you terribly during that lifetime. But they do that because you ask them to. And it hurt them to have to be that way to you, but it's what you ask them to do, and they love you enough to help you in your journey. So while my father was not a nice man during this lifetime, he is actually a member of my soul family who made an agreement and a contract with me to come here to teach me certain things.
My sister
And that
calls
is
that.
exactly why we're on this planet, is to learn.
Yes.
Because if you think about it, in the beginning of the Bible, it says, well, in the verse that I remember anyway, it's not the beginning, it's probably like when he created man. And it says, For God had created man in his image and in his likeness. Let us create man in our image and likeness. So within him saying that means he actually made gods in the likeness of him.
Yes.
So as we're going through life, we are a learning process. Yes, the evil in this world does bad things to us because the evil rules the planet. Now, the whole reason why we get all these diseases and all these bad things that happen is a learning experience. Because if you don't learn those experiences, you're not going to be worth anything. You're going to be worthless, and you don't want to be worthless. Because why do you think when Jesus went to preach and he got the worst of the worst, he went in the slums and grabbed people? Why do you think he did that? It was because he didn't want to go into the churches, the synagogues. He didn't go in there. He went and picked the worst of the worst and says, look, my light, my energy changed them. Changed them. And that is what we can do with the power of the Lord, the light that we have and that spiritual energy. We could change the world. But what are we doing? We're sitting here, some of them are just tapping, oh, I don't like this comment, or, they're going to go off and do some stupid things around cities, or just because it is the best thing in the world. You got your weekend warriors here. They're just sitting here going, oh, do this, I praise this, I do this. But what are they doing during the week? Absolutely nothing. Then you got people here that have the light. They got the light, they got the power, they got the energy. What are they doing? They're sitting on their phones, not doing a damn thing about it. So the only way to do things about this light is to get up off your asses.
Right.
You have to get up off your butts and do it. And that is why the collective is the ultimate truth, the way, and the light. You don't listen to this
And
negative
that's
energy.
what I've always lived my life by and taught my children and my grandchildren is you have to take your shine and go out there with your shine.
Oh,
And you
here we
have
go,
to
because
do
I'm going to
the
go on a
you
rant in
have
about a
to
second. I'm trying not to go on a rant.
you have to be able to show that
Someone else.
shine. And Archangel Michael has told me that there's times when you have to cloak that shine because it's a
Honey,
beacon for people's interest. So you
hon-
learn to cloak.
honey, have you ever spoken to Raphael, or do you just speak to Michael? And which one's cooler?
My phone messed up.
Well, I
Yeah, I was
mean,
about to go on a rant too. I was
my main guy is Michael, and then he tells me about the others, and then I listen to a woman on the Soul Podcast with Alex Ferrari, and her name is Geisman, and she channels the masters and the archangels, and then she also channels a council, and then Sarah Langdon channels what she calls the council, and she's written several books that they have channeled through to her. But my personal relationship has always been with Michael.
Yeah, so Mike Yale is might be thinking about that. It's just conflicting information for me, stuff that I've heard in past, and then again, I know that everything changes instantly anyways now, so that's got to be old, outdated information.
What information?
The information that Metatron, the Archangel Michael, as well as Lucifer are all on working on the negative side of things because that's where they line with. That's where they line with. But then information recently in I don't know, what, 4 months maybe, I'm hearing that no, I'm sorry, in the last month. I'm hearing or I read that back in 2020, those same conscious beings were hijacked. That's why they were negative. Now they're on the right path again. And channeling is something new to me. I don't channel, and I have no idea about this myself. My information is just insight, intuition, wisdom, and knowledge. And just natural ability of information that I have. So I'm just trying to find the truth in all of like what is this truth of information I'm hearing, and is it really relevant today?
Well, I know that you listen to Asiel. I know you go into Robin's lives, and he talks about only source, only God is here. And then he channels the masters and he channels the archangels.
Yeah, I gotta write
And,
that down. Was that word? It's on
and
TikTok, right?
right. And, you know, Thomas
Somebody's got a
Sawyer
lot of
is,
noise on their mic.
Yeah, somebody got some noise. I don't know.
Somebody's got a lot of noise on their mic.
yeah. Well,
How you spell that first name? I'll look up.
there's a lot of strong channelers out there, not just on TikTok. There's a lot on YouTube. There's a lot of people who have written books. And what I have come to realize for my own truth is that there is no actual good versus evil. There's
Right,
no light versus dark. It's all the same. It comes from source.
right. And that's
And
what I'm saying with source. And it doesn't matter with us because we're creators. It doesn't matter what's here or not here. You know, it just makes it seem so confused. Like there's no exact definitive,
I think,
only one truth. Who
honey,
is
I think your background music's making your background noise.
you think it's me?
Yeah, I think so. It's killing me.
Well, it did stop there. She muted. And I hear myself.
Yeah, it was her. What's the difference between the archangels and the masters? Like, what are the masters?
It's still there. The noise is still there.
Yeah, the noise is still there.
Huh?
The archangels are another like orb type. They're almost formless, so instead of the masters, they can take form anytime that they want.
Well,
Uh,
many of the
but I
archangels have
understand what
never
It's
been,
hard. It's hard to hear
never
you with
lived
this
a
noise.
life.
yeah, I
With the
know.
noise.
I'm sorry.
And the
Honey,
masters,
do you know what's making that noise? Sounds like you're at a party.
it's not me. I turned it up.
Everybody block your mics for a minute.
See if it's mine. I don't know. I don't hear it.
Mine's back on, and I don't hear it now. I don't know. That was messed up.
All
Okay,
right,
mine's
Darren.
back on and it's not there.
Okay, everybody block your mics and let Honey talk.
My understanding about the angels is that many of them never lived an actual life. The masters and the saints were ones who did actually live on earth. Yeshua's had many incarnations. Saint Germain had many incarnations. There's just Buddha has been here multiple times as different people, and some of them just lived mundane lives for sometimes. And then sometimes that's what we do is we come in and just say, you know what, this time I just want to be a housewife and raise a bunch of kids, and so let me go live in the 50s where I can do that. And, you know, just take a little break here and there. It's there's a lot of information out there and it's all in how you put it together. But I'm very adamant that there is no evil versus good. We are all the same. We're all the same source. We're a fractal of source, and we come in and live a life that's meant to teach others based on that balance.
I believe that, but I think like there's a pendulum swing of good and evil. So some people have more of one side than the other, but we all have good and evil in us. But some people pendulum swing to one side more than the other. Maybe this lifetime, who knows about the other lifetime?
I can't hear.
Another
Might be the
thing
thing you're
is
using.
that we live a life of poverty and very intense life experiences.
That noise
And
isn't me,
so
by
when
the
we
way.
live, we come to live as the rich person.
No, we can't
And
hear
so
you.
to see if we can be different in that way and learn something different from a different perspective. Or perhaps we're the rich person who treats people terribly. And when we do our life review, we realize how we made people feel. So we choose to come back into a life that is much more difficult so we can view it from the other side and see what
Honey,
lessons we learn from having the
do you have
opposite experience.
TV on?
Everybody block your mics again.
Honey's mic. I think she has a TV on in the background.
No, it's somebody's when she's talking because we just had it. When everybody blocked their mics and she talked, it was fine.
Brim, I think it might be yours. I'm not sure.
I don't hear it when everybody's mic is muted. I don't hear it.
It's just one way. Just
All right, Honey, talk. I'm gonna mute mine. Let's see that.
Okay, so anyway, this is just from things I started reading when I was 7, 8, 9 years old, and I've been reading about it pretty much all my life, getting different things together and pulling it all together, and then my own discernment, and then, delving in my inner higher self through meditation and dream state. I've taken classes, I've tried to learn as much as I can. And I don't think I have all the answers. I don't think I am the only one that's right, obviously. But this is my truth. This is what I believe. And again, I've lived so many lives that we're coming out of the karmic cycle and no longer needing that for coming out of the darkness. And so, from what I understand from different people that I have spoken with, the quantum healers and people that I work with now, is that I had a lot of dharma built up. And so, rather than coming in and living a karmic life, even though I had a few things to work out with my father, which we did, still, I've spent the majority of my later life just skating on my dharma so I could be here to show people what they need to do. And it's been ingrained in my life all my life that you do that as modeling. You just open up and take your shine with you. And when people see you shine, they want to know what you have. And they ask you, how did you get there? How did you do this? What can we talk about? It brings them in. But then there are also people that your shine irritates a lot. And so Michael told me how to dim and cloak when I needed to. And I can discern when there are people there that do not have my highest needs in mind. And I can learn to cloak, slide in, slide out, and stay out of trouble.
I just have a comment. The purpose of life is to experience and to have adventure. Is to help God, because that's what God is experience. It has its experience through existences by lives like us. But like I always wondered about that purpose. Like what is the purpose of life? And that's what I think come to now what it is.
To learn.
Well,
To
your
learn
purpose in
to,
life
no, no,
is
no, no,
just,
no, no, not really to learn, to experience.
Yes.
your purpose
But
is
in experiencing, of
unfulfilled.
course, you're going to learn. Because
Yeah.
how can you experience something but not learn something? No, find something out that you didn't know before. That's what you do with experience. You know,
And you're
that's what God
absolutely
is. And God experiences existences through creatures like us. Well, I think of a creature because it's like we could be any being, but we as a human would define it as a creature because it's unknown to us. That's how I'm
But
looking at the word creature.
we mainly have to learn
Can I
that
can I say something
we're
just
all
real quick?
God. We're
Honey,
all
can I
God.
say something?
We're not creatures. We're all God. And if we
Everyone,
saw God in
Yeah.
each person we looked at, in ourselves and in the person we're looking at, if we could see God in each and every person that we encounter, we could not do harm to that person because we would be doing harm to God and ourselves at the same time. And so, if we could ever learn that lesson that every single person on this earth, regardless of how you perceive them, is a spark of God, then we would eventually be able to evolve to where the Pleiadians are, in that they live in such divinity that they don't have the strife and the anger and all the horrible things we do to one another. And that's what we've been working toward, is evolution, trying to evolve into a more spiritual experience. And that's when we're going to have heaven on earth. Heaven on earth is not somewhere separate. And we're in Christ is not going to come down out of the sky on a white horse and send everybody to either hell or what they call heaven. But we also have to realize there's many layers for the afterlife. Some people go to what they perceive as heaven, and they may stay there for a little while until they figure out there's something left for them to do, something more for them to do, and they progress another level. And Krishna has the 7 levels, and I believe Buddhism does also. And so we're always in a cycle of learning, and until eventually we are able to become one with the God that we are seeking our way back to. But we're data collectors, that we're collecting data every moment of our lives. And Earth is the hardest place to
Buddhism,
be. It's the most
Buddhism
dense.
has the
And
8 paths. Is
That's
that
why
what
we're
you're
rock
talking
stars.
about?
people really want to come to Earth. There's like a list of people. You have to get on the list to be approved to come to Earth. There's so many who want to come here because you can overcome and learn so much by living one life on Earth.
I'm so happy to have you here. Oh my God. Yeah, you give me nuggets all the time. And you're absolutely right. People, they can't take that shine and they'll automatically just hate you. I have run into that many times in my life.
Does
Well,
everybody see that my eyes are
Michael
2 different
says,
colors?
he says, wrap yourself in the electric blue light, the belt of electric blue
Can't
light,
tell that right now.
and
Your eye
carry
color, I
this.
can't tell that because you're blue haze.
You have his. He will loan you his electric sword. It's not meant for harm. That's not why he carries it. It's a sword of light. And so you carry that light to protect you, to protect your aura. And then you work on your auric field every day. We all have an expansive auric field. Some are we carry it closer to our body, and some are real expansive. I'm a very expansive auric field. You can feel me coming before I ever get through the door. And so that irritates people sometimes. I'm a little big. And so I can learn to cloak that, and I can actually walk past a person and they don't recollect even seeing me. And, it's just something I learned to do a long, long time ago, something he told me that was possible for us to do. But, again, we have to understand that we are in school, and we are all in different grades of school. And so you can't expect somebody in the 2nd grade to be on the same level as someone who's in the 12th grade. And it's not that the 12th grader is a better person than the second grader. It's just where they are in their journey of learning. And we're here to teach and learn from our own life and also teach others in our field, in our in our area.
Because of the DNA we carry with memory.
Yes, the
Uh,
memory,
I
DNA
used
memory.
to, in my teens or my early 20s, I seen auras a few times, and I wanted gain that ability again. I used to see people's outline, they like view of their outline, like like their body, like the aura around their body. I used to be able to visualize that in certain people. It just few people just what the hell is that? I just saw a haze around certain people, and I just want to be able to have that ability again. It just
Well,
naturally happens. I don't
there's
know.
multiple layers to your aura as well. And if you
I
do
need to.
your spiritual practices every day, you can keep your auric field clear. Spiritual practices are one of the most important things we can do on a daily basis. We can do it with crystals, we can do it with meditation. We can put our protective shield around ourselves to draw only on the most pure powers. And that's why Reiki is effective, but it's not always long lasting, not like quantum is. Quantum is a much longer lasting healing because it draws from the absolute most pure light. And Reiki is a good light, and it's a good thing, but it's not the absolute purest. Therefore, it doesn't last as long. So you'll notice you'll feel better after Reiki, but you have to keep going back.
What is Reiki again? Could you remind me of that?
It's
And I
it's
need to ask a question.
it's an energy.
Is that the energy directly from the reishi?
No, Reiki is a practice where you learn to use symbols and to rearrange the energy around another person, and you use your higher energy, pull it in, and share it out without having to deplete your own energy.
Hmm. I'm thinking of it like feng shui almost, how I'm envisioning it.
No,
Arrangements of things in the room, but it's not that.
no, no.
Okay.
It's a manipulation of energy in the body.
Okay. Well, somebody had a question, so I don't know if it was Nightbird or not.
Yeah, it was me.
Yeah,
I have this
we got
thing.
about another 20 minutes. But go ahead,
I
Nightbird.
I have this thing, and I don't know if anybody can answer me or not, but I can almost look through a person. And I've looked at people with their bodies, and there's a silvery, shiny on the outside of their bodies
Yeah,
that I
like the
see.
aura, like you
So
look
what
past.
is that?
That is
That's
your
the aura. That's
outermost
kind of
layer
like the
of
thing
your
I used to
aura.
see.
That's your outermost layer of your aura. And
So that's what
then
I'm
you
seeing
have
with people, is that?
yes,
Yeah.
you're seeing the outermost layer.
Okay.
And
Right.
then you have an interior layer, and then another layer, and then the one closest to you.
What's the
And
one that's more like a
that's what the
greenish
quantum workers
hue
work
shade?
with. I'm sorry, what?
Is there one that's like a greenish hue shade, like off the top of your outline of your shoulder and your head, like it's kind of
It,
like a rainbow, like, but it's more of a
it's a
green,
different
maybe. I'm
color.
colorblind, so maybe what it is.
There, there are different colors for each individual person, and it also depends on what's going on with you. Your auras are going to change colors based on your chakras and based on your emotions, and you can have distortions, you can have tears, you can have shadows, and if
So is
you
that what the black is I see sometimes?
yes, or you may see a rusty brown. That's
It,
old stored energy that needs to be removed.
okay. See, I'm learning so much anymore with you guys, but I've always been able to do that. And there was a time when I was younger, one of my friends went to a reader, and I went with her, and I was looking at the lady, and I swear I saw all the way to the back of the wall with her, and she was so mad at me and dropped everything and yelled at me and said, "Stop it." And I had no idea what that was.
Well, she didn't have her shields up very well, and she was pretty mad you got through her shield.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, yeah. She wasn't doing her spiritual
It's
practices because we can shield, and you know you can tell when someone's possibly probing, and they can do it on purpose or they could just accidentally do it. Uh, but that was her fault because she didn't have her shields in the right place.
the idea of
Yeah.
shield. I've done shield work like years ago, and like I just don't get it. I mean, I guess it kind of works, but it's like for me, I have an instantaneous thing. Like I could just block or push back or whatever. I just have that. I don't know. I had a neighbor that I lived in an apartment complex before, and he and his wife are spiritually in tuned very well. He and I got very close, and he had a conversation. And he told me, yeah, they run from you. He's talking as I mentioned about the demons and evil beings that I thought were around me. You know, like, I just shoo them away. He's like, yeah. And like I said, I just look at them and they run. He's like, yeah, they run from you. It's just interesting of how that comes out. And that's kind of like the power that I have. I've had, I don't know, man. Just I don't get the idea. Why do you need a shield? But then again, that's not me.
Well,
So.
you need a shield to keep people out of your energy because they'll siphon it.
I have unlimited energy. The only thing
And
that's
that's
weakened is the physical form.
that's why I'm tired all the time.
Right. That's what it is. So it's like, I
Wow,
guess that's
okay.
what it is.
You probably need to take a class, Nightbird, say with someone like Lucky Crystal Christic or Thomas Sawyer or Aaron Bailey and let them teach you how to shield. It's not very expensive and they can do it over a Zoom. Um, they
Okay.
teach you how to shield.
I'll definitely look into it. And especially now with all this information and everything, my brain is just, I don't know how much more I could take. I'm almost like mush after the last few days. But I'm definitely going to look into that. I have to find a way to protect myself as well.
Well,
Especially if I am supposed to be doing something here on this planet, like Anuka said.
Lucky Crystal, her name is Sarah, and I'm on her Patreon, and I pay her a very small amount each month for her to clean my aura every week, and then she's also helping me with some of my bad habits. She's trying to help me get rid of some of my bad habits, and she does a weekly practice where she just goes in, and the people on her Patreon, she does light language and she does light codes, and she just puts them around you and does protection. I let her do that work because it's just there's no reason for me to have to feel like I have to do every single thing myself. She has that talent. I don't mind paying her $5 a month to do that. And then
Yeah. Crystal, what's the last name?
it's Crystal Chris. I'm sorry, it's Lucky Crystal Christic. Lucky Christic Crystal with a THAL. And her name
Okay.
is Sarah King. But Thomas also teaches a lot of classes, and he is an extremely strong, effective quantum. And then there's a whole group on here on TikTok, and they do free healings. They do free spiritual work. They get into, there's like 4 or 5 of them that do it several times a week. Aaron and Thomas do a class. They do a program every Thursday evening, and they charge like $17, $30. And Sarah does the same thing. She does charge, but I feel like it's an equal energy exchange for me because she's got so much. I don't mind paying her for what she does, and she wants to do this all the time, and the only way she can do it is to receive some payment for that. But she can go in as a medical medium and look at your entire body and tell you what's wrong, and then remove that stagnant energy from the area of your body that's causing you the dis-ease. And that's the way Michael says it, is we have dis-ease. We create our own illnesses. We create cancer. We create many of the autoimmune disorders that we have through stuck emotions and trauma that we...
That's crazy. It's crazy you say that because I have an autoimmune disease called Hashimoto's, and it came out of nowhere.
Yes, I've
Absolutely
heard
nowhere.
Exactly. My brother, when I was 17, I have a much older brother, and he mentioned most cancers, most illnesses that people have is because they thought they were sick.
Yes.
They thought that somebody sneezed on them, so now their throat is itching. I've done it. It's called the placebo effect. It's basically what that is right there.
Well, for me, I mean, it just all of a sudden hit me when I got here to New Mexico, and I saw a doctor, and they did an X-ray, and that's where they found all this crap. And he started talking to me, and it's been confirmed by the thyroid doctor. And I'm like, I didn't have that when I was in California. I didn't have that when I was in Colorado. What the heck?
Well,
It's just
you
like,
have to
wow,
think
and my whole
about...
body
They
gets
said
cold.
were you having any symptoms of any ailments of any type before? Is that why you went to see the doctor?
Actually, it started with when I left Colorado to go to California. I had trouble breathing when I was in California, which it should have been the other way around, because Colorado is a mile-high city. And it started with them doing a chest x-ray, and that's where they found everything out about me. That I had nodules in my lungs and my thyroid. And then in the past I had a fatty liver, but it turned into cirrhosis, and I had no idea. My spleen was enlarged.
Well, we carry a lot of our emotions in our spleen. We
The organ
pack
discs, like
them
liver.
into our knees. We pack them underneath our arms. It's like, okay, I need to worry about that, but I don't want to right now, so I'm going to stick it down here. And you get like a file folder underneath your shoulder blade of all the things that you intend to worry about, but you don't have time right now. And then
Well, and I didn't because I was taking care of both of my parents, and I didn't have any time for myself, and I didn't go to a doctor.
Yeah.
I fell down the stairs. I have problems with my L3 to L5 that are getting better. I had a nerve ablation, which that helped a lot. But it's like,
well, I know
when my mother passed away and I had to go to California, boom, everything hit me, and I'm going, I didn't know I had that wrong. I didn't know I had this. And then when I come to New Mexico for just a checkup, then the doctor said Hashimoto's. So that's how that happened. Crazy. My life has been crazy.
My daughter had a very, very rough time with her divorce. She spent about 2.5 years recovering, and she now has like a mass next to her thyroid, and we feel like her throat chakra was so closed for so long. She packed all of that into there, and we're clearing it out now with the quantum. And but it is very real. I mean, it causes very real symptoms and very real illness. But if you figure out how you can clear and how you can get peel your onion down until you get where the bottom of it is. And it's not easy. It's not a one-time Zoom call. You really have to do the work to get down to where you're going. But it's all clearing up now that she's opening up her chakra and she's able to speak her truth. And that's what we talk about all the time in the lives that I go into, and some I moderate. The quantum, we tuck things in our knees, we tuck them in our hips, we tuck them in our lungs and behind our shoulder blades, and it's just amazing to me how we can create our own illnesses. And if you allow that dark energy, that grungy brown black goo, to sit there in your body long enough, it changes your cells. And so that's
exactly what I would do. Go my damn mirrors I've done in the past, and it does work, and tell myself what? I don't have this stuff. It doesn't exist. It never did exist. It's all what I just wanted to imagine at that time. And you know what I'm going to do now? I'm going to change it up. And you know how else I was going to do it? I'm going to make sure read about what herbs I can help physically here, help this whatever it may be. Exactly.
Yeah.
Self improve.
you
That's
do have
exactly what it's about.
you have the
And
symptoms, and you need to have the organic plant systems to help you. But the most
yeah,
important thing is your mindset, telling your DNA. Don't ask it. Don't beg it.
exactly. Yeah.
You tell your DNA to change.
Well, I have to tell you, since I've been with you guys, my numbers have gone down. Things are improving. Yeah, with the thyroid, they took like 20 slides from my throat. I almost couldn't talk for a week when they did that, but it came back non-cancerous or anything. But all my numbers with everything have gotten better. And
Well,
with what we were just talking about with the whole DNA thing and everything Anouk was saying yesterday, it made so much sense to me, and I'm trying to apply that. I don't want to be on these damn medications that they have me on. I've been trying to take one off one by one.
well, I will talk. I talked about last night the silver, the colloidal silver, and I'm not a
Yeah.
doctor, and I'm not giving you, medical advice, but I will tell you that the colloidal silver will improve your immune system hugely. Read about it carefully, figure out how much you need to take and how often, but also the gold. And the gold helps your DNA respond to what you're telling you.
So it's gold or silver gold or gold silver, is that what it's called?
Well, it's colloidal silver, and then the liquid gold is separate.
Okay.
But read about it. Just look it up and read about it.
Well, and my uncle, he was having me take drops of iodine for my thyroid, and my thyroid doctor about had a fit when that happened.
I'll do that. Yes,
Because he even had a whole book, and he was giving me a whole book on it. And wow, yeah, I actually ended up
there's
in the hospital
also
with that.
Yeah, I got PDF
I
files.
would recommend, and it's called the body code and the emotion code, and they will show you how different things that are going on manifest in different places in your body.
I just find it so crazy that I come from a planet of healers, but I gave myself this body. Isn't that weird?
That makes part of your learning process, and how you're coming about to be able to teach other people because you have that experience.
Right.
Yeah. So,
I
but
got a question for you, honey.
okay.
What do you know about, if I can pronounce this word correctly, uh, shriglingant resin? Shriglingent. I don't know how it's SHRILIGENT. It's a resin. Uh, Shaman Storm mentioned it before. It's good for. I don't know if I can't remember. I have to look it up. I just wonder if you knew about that stuff. We were talking about growing stuff in the garden and things to eat, and she's big on that stuff.
Yeah,
Now she didn't
I've
know anything
been
about
talking
that.
to her too.
I
She's
don't
sending me some things from Australia even.
yeah. I don't know anything about
Yeah.
that. I have heard it. I've heard it mentioned. There's a couple on here. His name is John, and he's in Australia. And then there's a girl from Canada, and they are together, and they do healing. It's not Reiki. It's more of a heart healing that they do, and they're on here quite a bit. And that was brought up on one of their. I haven't had a chance to look at it yet.
Oh, we got that weird noise. Is that me?
I don't know. But even my wind chimes are quiet tonight, so it's not me.
All right, it's time to wrap this up. It was very good tonight.
All right.
Well, I had a lot of fun sharing that, but don't take it for gospel. You need to always use your discernment, use your research skills, ask a lot of questions and visit different sites and talk to different quantum healers because quantum is where it's going to be.
And what do you learn from all this
Absolutely.
stuff?
I'm sorry.
I said, in all this is your spiritual knowledge, right?
It's just what I've been reading since I was able to start really picking out my own library books.
Well, I love your wisdom.
Thank you.
Hmm.
Thank you.
Down the line says goodbye. Is that what we're doing?
I think so.
Oh,
I think he's tired. He looks tired.
well,
Yeah. We're gonna have the next show is gonna be Sunday. I'm gonna do some research on that, so it's probably gonna take me a while to figure out what I'm gonna do. I gotta catch up with a few people. It's probably gonna be a Sunday at 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and Trina's gonna close it out for me.
Well, thank you everybody for coming tonight. Do the hosts want to say one more thing before we leave?
I am very interested in the Akashic records. I've tried desperately. I've done different
Opie,
meditations and
good
tried.
night.
I would love to be able to find that talent.
well, I do have information on that stuff. That's something that I'm kind of good at, I guess.
Yes.
So you and I can link up with that later.
Okay. Well,
Oh, me too.
send me
Me
something
too.
I can read.
Nah.
Okay. Yeah. I just have to
Good night.
send an email or something.
Okay.
Yeah, you have my email, don't you?
Yeah, I got
Opie, you
yours, I
have the
think.
floor.
If you
So
can email
just
me,
direct message me
I'll
your guys'
print it out
emails.
so I can read over it.
Okay.
All right, honey.
Well, I appreciate y'all allowing me to grandstand a little bit tonight.
Hey, it's all about the spiritual knowledge. That was the whole meaning of the show. I don't know if you were here earlier in the show and why I did it like this.
Yes, I've been here since the beginning.
Okay.
Wouldn't miss it.
It's about spiritual knowledge
All
from
right.
from spiritual beings. That's exactly what we are. Having a experience.
Mm.
I had a whole thing
Okay,
mapped
Opie,
out and then
you
I
have the
had
floor.
something happen 5 hours ago and then I threw it out and went with this.
Well, we're glad it turned out well.
Yes, you did.
No problem. All right. If you want to send some
All
more
right, let's
gifts
try this
to
one
the
more
host and
time.
me,
Okay, everybody, goodbye. Poor Trina, they're struggling to get a word in. I'm going to start saying good
No,
night, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys
yeah,
on
just everybody
Sunday.
just say goodnight. We'll call it good, and then we'll make another plan for Sunday. It's been a good show. It's been a really good show.
Yeah.
We need to get our likes up and our actually got some pretty good shares. All right, good night. Good night, everybody. We'll see you Sunday. No shows till Sunday. And then
Yep,
you get a Monday and Tuesday.
yep. Monday and Tuesday Nook, and we got here Epsilon here or Brimstar now on a Sunday. Hi, everybody. Love you guys. Have a great night. Stay in contact. Keep texting and Facebook and everything else. So, all right, y'all.
Everybody have a good night.
Yep. You guys too.
Love and light.
Oh, yeah.